Alright, I think I'm live. Hello, hello. I don't know how many people are hanging out in chat, and I don't know how many people are going to show up for this since it came out a couple weeks ago. I don't even know if the stream's kicked in yet, but I think we're good to go. But yeah, hey everyone, I am here. I'm going to be playing some Metalbringer if I can remember how to play this game. I've been wanting to finish this. I don't usually do like Let's Plays anymore. But this is one of the few games where I'm just like, no, I really want to finish this one just because there's something special about it. Let's see. I mostly want to look into something real quick. Predictive shooting. Okay, good. We have this on. Targeting enemies when not using a gun. That's fine. I think we've got all of my chips selected. All right, cool. So I'm probably just going to dive right into this, but if you guys haven't seen this before, this is Metalbringer. It is a mecha third-person shooter slash like hack and slash action RPG looter shooter kind of dealio, where you either are playing as like this little guy and you can shoot and fight things. How do I swap weapons? It's triangle, right? Oh no, it's just left trigger, right trigger for this guy. But you can also find and assemble mechs out in the field that you can then save the parts for and bring them back with you. And came out a couple weeks ago. Really enjoyed it. And I've been trying to finish it for reasons. And so as kind of a goof, I figured for a build, I'd try one where I'd have quad autonomous lasers. Normally you can only wield 2 weapons at a time in this game. However, oh right, it was reload speed. That was the thing that people had suggested. Maybe I go grab that. Let's self-destruct, go back and try it again. Could we define this as a roguelite Muso game? Yes. The previous game that they made was called Samurai Bringer, which was like very much Dynasty Warriors, but if it was a roguelike. I found it to be a little rough around the edges in a way that I didn't quite enjoy. But, oh right, no, it's not here. It's here we've got to go to. So somebody had said reload speed is actually just fire rate. And so I want to see if I can find some, see if I can find that. Unfortunately, I haven't used this, or haven't played this in a little while, so this is going to take a bit. Eject weapon, One of these is reload speed. Unfortunately, there's no good way to... Okay, quick reload. Shortens reloading time for equipped weapons. So it's, midway. See if I can find anything I can cull. This tenacious shot prevents attacking while flinching while attacking with ranged weapons. You know, I can probably deal without either of these. I'm sure we'll just find them in the field. Electric attack. Let's see. All attacks from ranged weapons delta targets at full HP become crits. I can live without that. I think we can get crit otherwise. Yeah, rapid fires for other things. Discharge. No, we want that one. Let's see, damage dealt by beam attacks. Yeah, the problem is I don't want to get rid of too many of these because they're actually extremely helpful. Increases damage while burning, chance for crits, damage by crits. We want the layered effects. Let's see. Oh, targeting different enemies with ranged weapons in each hand. I think I can turn that off, actually. I don't think that's going to have much of an effect. I'm just going to turn off Connoisseur. I don't think we need it here. And do we want to get rid of Demolisher? Like, some of these we will just find while we're out and about, I think. We want the D-chips. Do we want negotiation? You know, I could probably do without negotiation. I just want to make sure I've got the, I was really hoping I could go up faster. Oh, but we know it's a purple, or kind of the dark blue. Okay, quick computing, research, auto-target. Where is it? One of these. Quick reload, there we go. So let's slap this on at maximum. That only puts me at a 266, so I actually have a little bit more space than I thought. Which now gets tricky because of what do I grab? I mean, I guess I could throw on some of the... Well, we could throw on negotiation. This one's always helpful. Okay, that's better. And let's just grab Connoisseur and Demolisher, even though we're liable to find them while we're out and about. There we go. That's good enough. All right. Where's my mech? Let's hop back into this sucker. All right. So now I should have an obscene amount of fire rate on top of everything else. Let's see how this goes. Oh, God. Yeah, this is much better. So, the only immediate problems with this build is just the fact that it's going to be cooking my energy extremely quickly. I'm going to burn through energy and crank heat up really fast. Which could put me in a tricky position, but I think it's going to do so much damage it doesn't matter. Look at all those chips, too. Cripes. Oh, there's another quick reload. Yeah, I probably could have done without quite as many, but that's okay. There's a bot. He's just hanging out. We're getting an obscene amount of chips, which is great, just because that's how I scale, and also just because saving chips is a good thing. Though, presumably this is going to be my last run of this game. Maybe not ever. But I don't think I'm going to be playing this too much after this one. Just because I've kind of seen and done everything. I really wish this little bot was just a little faster. Because I need him to get over here as well. Because there's at least a handful of discs that I'd like to snag. Oh, I guess we got all of them. Just mostly this one rice ball if I want to pick it up. I guess I could also just say, like, I don't care, I don't need it, but still. Come on. I really don't know why it has to interact with that every single time. I know it's supposed to, like, link it to the base, but don't care much. Come on, dude. There we go. Alright, so, if any of you, I'm assuming some of you watching this have at least seen my last video on this. I didn't get the true ending even though I'm on New Game Plus, which, apparently, according to somebody, you just have to do, fight 2 of the mid-bosses per region to get the true ending. I'm not actually sure if that's going to be the case or not, but I figured I'd give it a shot. Just go for, like, a longer farming run and just, demolish this game as fast as I can. Personality libraries of my son and his wife were successfully installed into Rudra. However, a different test run on a different Rudra ended in failure. It appears that when we attempt to merge multiple personality libraries into the same AI, compatibility of those personalities can cause problems. Therefore, I decided to put the personality libraries that are thought to have been collected automatically by Siva under protection. With this, as long as Siva continues to operate normally, it should refer only to my own personality data and no one else's. Yeah. So didn't want to copy too many people into the evil overlord AI. Just one person's enough, cripes. What an absolutely, like, ludicrous setup. Even with the chain guns, I don't think I was firing this much. Maybe I was firing a comparable amount of bullets, but I don't think it was nearly this effective. Okay, is there anything? Yeah, there's still some guys spawning, but we can just kind of wander around. It is pretty effective. I knew I wanted to try an autopod run. I knew it had potential to be very cool. And I'm glad to see that, yes, it is. Maybe cool is maybe not the right word so much as just, like, upsettingly strong. But hey, I like that. There's something really satisfying about roguelites, where you get to that point where you are just so absurdly powerful, nothing can stop you. Unfortunately, that's also where the roguelite stops being fun, because, like, after that point, the game will never get harder. Presumably, I mean, maybe this game will scale up in some way, shape, or form. On, like, higher New Game Plus levels, but without, like, more variety and replay value to match, like higher chip caps or something like that. Have you ever noticed the supposed color interactions with damage and armor? So I looked it up, somebody had explained it to, or somebody had pointed it out when I'd found those chips and explained it to me, and then I looked it up on the Steam forums. And yeah, depending on the color combinations, like, you would do more or less damage, which I think is extremely weird. I vaguely support the existence of a mechanic like that. That is such a, like, old school PS1 to PS3 era game design decision. Just like Lunacid making the game scale in difficulty based on like the current phase of the moon in real life, which I think is extremely cool as well, but also like extremely awkward, and I'm not going to bother with that. I'm just gonna muscle through regardless. Okay, so we can analyze some chips. Oof, but it is pricey. I do actually have 30,000 chips in retrospect. Let's see if I've got a... Here. Because I can just transfer from Meru Lab. I can just take all of them. As far as I know, there's no real consequence, but having as many chips as I can carry with me... having as many chips as I can carry with me means that I can buy as much as I want. Now, we could go back in and somewhat painstakingly... Oh, that's not what I want. So what I could do, potentially, is... Like, there's a couple mech parts that I've never, analyzed, usually because it's just not something I want. But I'm still probably going to take them if I can. You only take half of that back with you. Yeah. Okay. Back to the good mech. I don't know if we have anything else. Looks like he already got the chip. So unless there's a blueprint here that I have not snagged, pretty sure we just got that torso. Okay, let's go back. It reminds you of the old man in Metal Gear Solid 3. I really hope they do the same thing in Delta. It's a boss man. I shall defeat you and wear my victory with pride. I legitimately thought he was going to say, I'm going to wear your skin. That would have been not bueno. Okay, so actually he hurts. So I need to somewhat stay away from the boss. We took some real damage from him. Because they level up every time I kill them, which makes them a lot trickier. Okay, got him with a really good salve on that one. Yeah, the problem is he's got this, like, really nasty quad lance. There we go. And he's a stupidly dodgy dude. I don't see him. Okay, there he is. I'm just gonna target lock him. There we go. Yeah, the bosses are gonna be tricky here. And this is why we're gonna want to do kind of a farming run and stack a bunch of chips. Because he actually did, like, take off more than half of my mech's torso health, which we really do not want this mech to get broken. If it breaks, we're functionally, I'm not going to say sunk, but we're going to have to cobble a whole new mech from scratch, and that's going to be a giant pain in the ass. Downer on this weapon. Does not shoot through the barricades. Doesn't really need to. And so kind of the main hope here is to just be so overwhelmingly powerful that we can just melt things before my mech is endangered. I'm gonna have to hang out and heal. One of the downsides of me potentially streaming this is if I need to actually hang out and heal, we are just going to have to hang out and just do a light podcast or something. I mean, it only takes like a minute or two, but still. We will see. Let's see. Done the same run with autopods. It's a blast. Got my time down to 6 minutes and 43 seconds. Damn. This is probably going to take a couple hours, to be honest. I think up until now I've mostly gotten, just gone kind of slow and played this over the course of like a 2 to 3 hour period. I think my first win was like 4 hours long. That took a while. So seeing as you've probably played way more of this than I have, how do you get the true ending? I assume it's just beat the 2 bosses per floor? Or is there another trick to it that I don't know? Because somebody was saying beat two bosses per floor, and that'd be it. Yeah, for people who are not aware and haven't seen this game before, I have a chip that makes it so my mech automatically restores itself at the cost of energy over time. But my energy regen is so high, it really doesn't actually impact my energy generation anymore. But it only triggers when I'm out of combat, so I'm just kicking around for a little bit. Waiting for the head part to go back up to full, because it would be pretty bad to lose that. Because the head part is what all of the weapons are attached to. Got the game after watching your videos on it. Can't stop playing. I'm having a blast using double or quad hammers. Wait, you can do quad hammers? I know you can do quad autopods, but how the hell would you do quad melee? Does it let you go like full Shiva? It's Shiva, right, with the multi-arms? Or is that Vishnu? It's one or the other. Unfortunately, I'm not well versed in Indian mythology. There we go. Okay, it's Vishnu. Anything else? So, you might wonder why I'm specifically sitting around... Well, I mean, hopefully it's pretty obvious. So, the way the game works is, like, as soon as you enter a region, you can go out one of the gateways into another region. The main reason why I don't want to do that mostly boils down to the... fact that every single enemy I kill has a chance to drop new parts for me, but especially new chips, which is extremely helpful, as new chips are kind of our progression system. Doesn't look like we've got a garage on this floor. Both mid-run and out of run, and so the more chips I can get, the more powerful I'm going to be by the end of this run, with upper limits. Okay, good question. I was able to get the true ending by speeding through. I thought it was time gated. Maybe it's just like play the game a couple of times. What could I buy? Firm stance. I'm also someone who got the game after watching Wander play it. It's one of those games. Like, I don't want to be like super dismissive of other developers and other games and whatnot. But it is rare for me to come across like one of these games that feels very fresh. That a lot of games I play tend to be just kind of iterations on something else, someone else's idea. And while this is technically kind of a cross between Dynasty Warriors and Armored Core, that's extremely fresh, and I haven't seen anybody else really do that. And so, like, I don't know, I haven't been able to get it on my head, which is why I wanted to record it today, or stream it today. Because I was sitting there being like, yeah, I should record other games, but I just want to play more Metal Bringer. Eventually, I just kind of hit the threshold of like, screw it, we're just going to stream Metal Bringer and be done with it. Beyond a certain reason, I don't get, why use a body with 2 pairs of arms instead of one with them built in? You mean like, why do I have 4 weapon mount slots on this one? Or why do I use it in general? Because in this case, 4 weapon slots actually works here. Because all of the autopods, even the ones on the shoulders, are active. Which means I'm actually firing with 4 weapons simultaneously. I think the damage is reduced, but I don't mind, considering it just gives me that much more broad firepower. On other runs where I'm not doing this, having that extra, having the extra weapon slots means you can carry like a part with you. Oh my god, that's a lot of rice balls. Come back, I'm hungry. I guess I could just let him carry around a leaning tower of rice balls. But I think it's probably better that I don't. Because no way I'm gonna eat them. But you can disassemble mechs now? Yeah, so it's a, there's actually two ways to do it. There's a tricky way and then there's a regular way. Tricky way is you hop into the mech and then manually unequip the parts. The other way is I think it's called Deconstructor or something like that. It's a chip you can get that makes it so you can just walk up to a mech that you've defeated, and you can just tell it to you can just hold square and it'll drop all of its internally held parts, and it's extremely helpful. Let's see. I'm not sure you can get the true ending by getting to the end as just a labor unit. You can, there's an achievement for it. Ooh. That is probably something I won't go for. Trying to do one of these runs just with a labor unit sounds like it would be hell. Maybe it'd be fine. I don't know. Okay, we still got some enemies left. I'm gonna clear this out and we're gonna buy a couple of parts, I think. Okay, looks cleared out enough. Eh. What a goofy looking dude. I don't get the point of the giant radar head. There's probably like some bonus functionality to it, but I do not know. Wow, that's expensive. There goes all of my money. But at least it won't be telling me, hey, you can pick these parts up anymore. Let's see. Go back to this. Alright. I don't think there's anything else. It looks funny. I do like the radar head. I just wish I knew what it did. Because I've seen a couple of them and it doesn't seem like it has a special like part or function that really makes it worth using. Like there's some of these that actually have like a built-in weapon to the torso, for example. Or like that one. I'm like, at least that makes sense. Maybe it's got a specific stat or a passive ability I'm not aware of because I'm not too interested in looking into it. It's possible. Okay. I guess the other option we could do is actually just take a quick look at the Steam forums and see if people have confirmed how you get the true ending. Because I'm assuming it's something like see the ending in some way, read X amount of logs, or maybe there's a couple of different conditions to actually get it to work. Yeah, some items just don't have special feature outside of aesthetics. It's kind of a shame. I actually really wish everything was special in some way. You know, it's like, oh, you know, the radar dish has, like a couple of chips built into it automatically. Like, the book finder chip, for example. And maybe, like, some kind of bonus to race ball gain, maybe. We found sentinel bullets. No, I don't think I found that one yet. At least it doesn't ring any bells. Oh, is this one? There's no book on this floor, because I've pretty much found all of them. Does this run on the Steam Deck? I don't know. I haven't tried it personally. I thought I saw a Steam review saying one way or another. I'm gonna just let this go auto for a bit, or it autopilots. Oh, ick. Can I change that? Monetization. Conservative. Yeah, it looks like YouTube's slapping us with auto ads now, which is a little bit of a shame. Up until now, I've just not had ads play on my streams because it just seemed like it was an annoyance, and I didn't want to subject you guys to it. But it looks like their latest update said, nope, you have to put ads in streams now. I can pause them for 10 minutes, and I think I'll try and remember to do that for the first 10 minutes of every future stream. But still. What's up, Shell? Just the ads? Yeah. I can turn it on conservative mode, which I don't know how much it slows. I might be able to do the choose when it's added, but I think it might specifically like ask me to set it up. I guess I could look into it now. This is new changes, and I don't like them. Okay, wait, I can do an insert ads manually. There we go. Because I don't mind videos having ad breaks, because you don't miss anything out. But when I'm streaming, I want everybody to be largely on the same page. I don't want people to miss, like, a couple minutes. Something, like, jump in and out in the middle of a conversation or a topic. Because that just sounds awful. Part of the reason why I don't watch Twitch anymore. Like, I get that ads are, like, the primary way that most of these... Oh, gosh. That guy's, like, actually not a threat. He's just an annoyance. Is he? Or is he actually one of the mid-bosses? Oh, he is one of the mid-bosses. That's why he's causing problems. Okay, I'm just gonna try and target lock him and wreck him. Because, yeah, he's way more active than any other enemy type. There we go. Got him. There we go. Let's see. Genuine question for everyone in chat. How you been doing recently? I have been extremely lethargic this week. It's starting to become spring around here, and so, like, my allergies are starting to kick. And I've got, kind of just a lot of stuff looming, but I don't have to do it yet. But the sooner I actually, like, work on these things, the better, you know, the easier it's going to be on me in the future. But I am just like, nope, I'm just want to sit on the couch, read manga, and play Xenoblade. And that's what I've been doing, which is equal parts, like, great for my mood, bad for my productivity. I've been the biggest couch potato. Part of the reason why I probably should stream a little bit more, I think I've just been kind of mad at Twitch and YouTube for reasons. Namely, I do not like their parent organizations in the slightest, and it is tricky to tie my livelihood to these companies, but, I mean, literally, what can I do? Probably actually grab this book. I think it's just the guy being like, oh, I lost. Okay, and I don't think I have... Yeah, I don't have enough money to save any parts, so I think I'm going to give up on that. They really do not give you that many D-chips, which is annoying. Are you playing X? Yeah. Let's see, wonder if you ever consider going back to Sulphur? Oh, absolutely. I love that game. I was kind of hoping to stream it when it hits 1.0, but I don't know when that's going to be. Also, just time. Because, yeah, one of the other things I've been working on is I'm trying to do, like, more of my essay/recommendation videos again. I stopped because I got mired in a couple of, like, really long scripts. Like, I'm trying to do something where I'm providing, or I'm trying to come up with, like, a reasonable explanation of, like, what counts as an indie game and what doesn't. Because people see people, like, back to that Dave the Diver thing of like, oh, is it an indie game? No, it's not. But I was trying to like put together like a very well-reasoned explanation of like what counts as indie and not. And it's like 20,000 words, and it has gone through, I'm gonna say 13 rounds of editing, and so I'm like super toasted on working on that one. I've also got one on like tabletop RPGs and a couple others, and so I keep picking these big projects that matter to me, and then getting mired in the like, no, it isn't quite right, I need to keep working on this. And that sucks. At least when I was in like college, I just had a due date, so after a certain point, I just have to say good enough. Now it's, you know, I am both the student and the teacher, and my standards are very high, especially for something where like I do not want to be wrong. Let's see. Essays suck. I actually really like writing them because I'm not forced to, so I can write about things that I care about. But it's still tricky. See, I wonder, are you ever going to go full VTuber at some point? I need to learn 3D modeling. So this is kind of a completely different topic. But I live in an apartment at the moment. I don't have much like room to set anything up, but as soon as I have like a bigger space, like a house, I want to get a 3D printer so that I can actually start printing off like actual models and stuff. Because I know how to 3D model. Not very well, I'm not good at it. You know, texturing, normal mapping, all that kind of jazz, not very good. But like, I can do the 3D modeling part fine. Not optimized for game assets, but I could make something that looks good enough to be printed. And so one of my goals, kind of long term, is to get into kind of printing kind of my own like little statuette toy game figurine kind of deals, because I'd like to mess around a little bit with like board game design as well. And so as part of that, I was probably going to make some 3D models that I could use for like VTuber stuff. And so that's probably going to be when I make the transition, but that might not be for another year, if I had a guess. So if you go VTuber, would you use your screen face as a cat cam? Would I? No, I don't have a cat. That would be funny. But yeah, I have no pets. The best I could do is point a camera at my wife, and I don't think she'd be happy with that. I could absolutely use the faceplate for weird things, though. I think that actually would be fun. As just kind of like a, you know, replace the face with something else periodically. Like, sky's the limit, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to mess around with being a PNG tuber in the first place. Is that I was feeling kind of stagnant. I've been feeling kind of stagnant for a while. YouTube has changed its algorithms pretty dramatically over the last X number of years. Specifically to the point where, like, I used to do Let's Plays and, like, 6 to 10 videos a day. And they're all half an hour long, and it was nice and easy, and people would watch them because I'd rank pretty high on the search results. And then YouTube at some point said, hey, but what if we did algorithmic promotion? So, like, nobody's using search results anymore. You know, who needs to search for anything when we just put it on the YouTube homepage? And so people got swapped from sub feeds to just kind of this nebulous algorithmed feed that is trying to get people to watch whatever YouTube thinks you want to watch, or at least what YouTube wants you to watch. Kind of a bit of both. And so that functionally killed my channel in its previous incarnation. And like, I was lucky enough to have a big enough audience at that point that I was kind of capable of pivoting and like slowly transitioning away. But it was one of those where it's like very overt slow death of what I was doing, and no like easy way to hard pivot unless I was like suddenly just game it out round 2. Is there a way to make your autopod bullets faster? I think I have them, but I could be wrong. There might be other chips that I do not know of. And so, I don't know, just been feeling kind of stagnant in that system where the algorithm no longer is really interested in the content that I'm promoting. And oops, that's not what I was looking for. We want the map. Okay, we do have a chip shop back here. And no books. And so one of the like small changes I wanted to make that's just slightly different was just to have a PNG tuber model. Just as like a personal like, hey, this is kind of a fun thing. So I guess I don't currently have it on, but like I have a PNG tuber for me being a dinosaur, and a lot of people really like that one. I think it's very cute and fun, and I had like a ton of fun making it. And so it's one of those where, you know, as an artist, I need good excuses for me to do art again. And like one of the big ones is I want to get back into tabletop RPGs, but that has such a massive workload requirement for me that I'm a little slow about getting those assets done. But a PNG tuber is easy. That takes maybe a couple hours, and then I'm done and I have something fun to play around with. So I was going to do it for this game, but I never got around to it. But I'd like to look at a bunch of like mecha anime and like what the characters look like in cockpits. Mecha and like Starfighter, mostly Macross and Macross Gundam. What's the one from Clamp that's really good? Code Geass. There we go. And like maybe a couple other ones, and just take a look at like, yeah, what do the characters look like in their cockpits, and then draw like a Wanderbot in a cockpit, kind of like a transmission windowy looking thing. And I'll probably do something similar for like a Metal Gear Solid codec looking thing, just because why not, right? It's super easy, and I could use it for a variety of purposes. Even the point of like, you know, if I decide to play Metal Gear Solid, you know, I could easily just have that be my PNG tuber for the video. And, you know, cutaway gag. Like if I want to just randomly talk about something or be informative, I cut away to the codec call version instead. I don't know. Once again, sky's the limit is something that I get to play with again. I feel like you and Rito are in the same boat here. I think a lot of people are. There's kind of this like, I want to say slow burn on YouTube, that the YouTube that every time a YouTuber gets quote unquote big, there's, I'm going to say like a 3 to 5 year period where they really hit their heyday. And then after that, it's kind of this slow death as either the novelty wears off or the algorithm that made them big shifts and changes. And what was that? Oh yeah, that too. But the algorithm might shift and change to the point where, shush, Chal, I'm getting to it. But the algorithm will shift and change, and suddenly, like, the thing that was doing really well for you might not anymore. You know, videos that might have gotten, like, hundreds of thousands of views back in the day now only get, like, 10, 15,000 or something like that. And so it's kind of a matter of finding your plateau and being happy with it, and then eventually, every once in a while, tweaking it in some way to shape the new schema, because there's no way that, like, I could have maintained my old output, but then also my old like viewership and growth, just because YouTube said no. Let's see. Yeah, waifu wants a word in. Well, she specifically wanted to say that the audience also ages, which is true. You know, like a considerable portion of my audience found me early on due to a game called Scrap Mechanic. I'm assuming a number of you have seen my Scrap Mechanic videos, but maybe not. I don't know. Like, it's been years since I last covered that game. I think I stopped in 2017 or so, and so it's like it's been 8 years since I last did a video on Scrap Mechanic, apart from the survival mode, which is its own thing, and I don't think got nearly as many views or as much popularity. But with like the Scrap Mechanic audience, a lot of those fans were young, like teenage level or younger. And even if they technically shouldn't have been watching, or at least they should have at least had a YouTube account to watch me at that point. I don't know. Ages are funky. But, what was I going to say? But, so the people that grew up watching me play Scrap Mechanic have, like, if you were a 13-year-old when I started playing Scrap Mechanic in 2015, Was it 2015 or was it 2016? It was, I know it got popular kind of in 2016. I just don't remember if Scrap Mechanic had already come out at that point. But like if you were a 13-year-old at that point, you'd be 21. Right? No. Sorry, you'd be like 23. Like you would have gone to college and graduated at this point. And like, not everyone from that era of my channel probably still watches me, and I can't blame them. You know, I used to watch Northern Lion like a ton when I was starting out, but I've just kind of changed as a person. I also just don't watch other creators. I find that I tend to mimic people too much if I watch them, so I have to watch creators that do something other than what I do. Otherwise I end up just like stealing jokes, and that feels weird to me. And like I also don't make as many jokes as I used to. But I'm very vulnerable to earwig phrases. And like odd memes and stuff. So like completely random example, saw the meme years ago for like me and the boys at 3 a.m. Going out for some beans or something like that. I forget what it was, but for whatever reason that like earwigged into my mind, and I just like had to constantly not say weird shit about beans. And I think that's a bad example because that's definitely not like one of the more prominent ones that got stuck in my head. But it's still kind of the part of the reason why like I don't watch creators in general, but the reason why I can't really fault people for moving on and finding somebody else to watch. Or just getting busy. I mean, like I know some audience members, I know there was one fan a while back who's like, yeah, you know, I'm at the hospital waiting for my kid to be delivered. And it's like, oh, that's quite the life change. I actually legitimately do not know if I've seen them in chat since, and I cannot blame them because that's a big life change. If you watch Northern Lion for 10 minutes, I'll subconsciously talk like him. He has a funny way of making jokes. He's great. Like, I enjoyed him 10 years ago, and I enjoy what little of him I watch now whenever, like, a clip of him doing something silly pops up on my feed. I think there was that Sisyphus game, and he had kind of like an unhinged rant in the middle of that. That was like one of the last things of his that I watched, but it was like, yeah, you still got it, and that's charming. I'm a different person than I was, you know, back when I was starting my channel, sitting in a office chair. Oddly enough, not too far from where I currently live. I have come full circle in my life. You know, working on animations for Nickelodeon video games and bored out of my mind. So it's like, I don't know, people watch this guy playing Binding of Isaac. Let's just throw it on because why not, right? And it's like, oh, this is actually pretty good. I could do that. And yeah. Let's see. Where's the exit? Oh, wait, no. There's a boss here, but are we locked? Oh yeah, we're locked. We can't go out anymore. So if you haven't seen this before, after looping through a region 3 times, like clearing 3 mid-bosses, you have no choice but to go down. I guess we've hit that point. I find as I get older, I care about games less. I like your vids, but we have a similar taste. Oh my god, these things are dying. First time I fought these bosses, they wrecked my mech in seconds. This time, Justice. But no, I can totally understand the, like, care about games less thing. I think I'm suffering from that too. There was what is it? It's the guy who does the pitch meeting videos. On his other channel, he did something recently, like a skit of him playing video games as a 30-year-old. Ryan George, there we go. And as part of it, it was like just a short little thing of like him sitting on the couch next to his brain and like sitting next to himself wearing a brain cap. There we go. I should explain this a bit better. And he was just trying to enjoy the video game, you know, as he used to. And his brain kept interrupting him with like taxes, current events, stuff like that. And I thought that was actually extremely poignant because I do have that problem. Like, I still get to enjoy video games to some degree because when I'm working, I'm not thinking about those as much. I can kind of compartmentalize reality because I recognize that reality does not always make good content. I don't want to be one of those like reaction newsy channels that has to weigh in on, you know, X or Y controversy. I'll do it if I think it's relevant or important. So like I'll bring up a current event, or I guess in this case the Ryan George video, because I thought it was poignant and well handled for kind of the topic. But I think part of it is also the older you get, the more you suffer from been there, done that syndrome. And I very much have this problem with a lot of video games where I've been there, I've done that before, I've seen it before, I've done it before, and it doesn't excite me in the same way that it used to. So easy example I could think of for this would be like roguelike deck builders, maybe. That like when Slay the Spire came out, and Slay the Spire still gets this for me. There was that like really tangible feeling of excitement of like discovery and understanding and like learning the mechanics and mastering the game. And then every roguelike deck builder thereafter, except for like Monster Train, has just felt like kind of the same thing again. Even if it does do something different, I've still got that like baseline muscle memory and understanding for the genre. And so the excitement that I felt the first time kind of wanes. It was kind of the same thing with like Hollow Knight. I loved the first couple hours of Hollow Knight. I went from like being kind of like, okay, yeah, this looks cute too. This is legitimately one of the best games I've ever played at the time. And now that I've played like a gazillion other Metroidvanias, I just don't get that excitement anymore. Some of them I'm like, actually, this is very good. Like I really enjoyed Ultros. I thought that was neat. But baseline few games kind of manage to evoke that same emotional high that it used to. And I'm also kind of stuck in that like mental state of I've got other things I want to do. And so as fun as video games can be, they do somewhat get in my way of playing other stuff or doing other things. So like, it's a good example. Well, I mean, like working on tabletop RPGs, or like at some point I'd like to write a book. I think that would be fun. I don't know if it'd be good, but I think it would be fun to write a book at some point. And so you have to kind of balance like, do I really want to play Shin Megami Tensei? Is it 5 now? Whatever the most recent one is. You know, do I really want to play that game when I know it's going to be monstrously long? Or would I rather, you know, work on something more meaningful to me, something that I can like be proud of long term? And so some video games I think still very much hit that hit that threshold. So I actually really liked Metaphor ReFantazio. I thought that was one of the best like classic JRPGs I've played in a while, and also one of the better Persona style games I've ever played. So I thought that one was very good, and I played that relentlessly. Same thing with this one. Like this was fresh and new and exciting. My first couple runs of this were just like I'm having a blast learning and exploring it. I know it's become rote. I mean, I'm also playing the laziest build in existence, which is let the game play itself for me as I just demolish everything in my vicinity. But you know, whatever, that's a natural consequence of equal parts mastery, but then also min-maxing and using autoguns. Yeah, my old man says everyone's got one good book in them. I'm pretty sure everyone, like, very much I think people in general could write a lot of good books if they had the time and the energy and the patience to do so. So like for me, I think I've written easily thousands of pages of half-baked novels at this point. I just need the willpower to stick to one of them and not throw it away immediately. But like I said, I tend to kind of replicate the things I'm thinking about. I don't want to say like lack of object permanence. I'm sure it's some kind of attention disorder thing. But you know, I'll have like a really good idea that I'm sure of. I'm like, yeah, this would make a great story. And then like 2 weeks later, I'm onto something else because I can't pin myself down to one. And I can't exactly like lock myself away for a month and write an entire manuscript without devouring a single piece of media, because my job requires me to devour media if I could get to that point where, you know, I don't need to work as much and I have like a whole month pre-recorded, yeah, I probably will come back with a novel. I think that'd be great. I'd say go for it. I mean, I actively always am trying. The other thing is, you know, wanting to do tabletop RPGs is, how do you delineate what is a novel and what is a tabletop RPG? You know, what do I want to run as a campaign for my friends? What do I want to run as kind of like a solo novel that I've just written for myself? And boy, I keep bouncing back and forth. I'm like, no, but this would be so much fun if like my players were playing this instead of me just writing about characters out of my head. Do you have a referral code for the game? Alas, no. Steam does not do referral codes at all, which sucks. It's the one thing I really wish Steam would do, is just like even a 1% of the games that I promote. If I got a 1% cut, I would probably be much better off than I already am, I am sure. I'm hoping. I keep trying to... I keep poking my YouTube rep. He's like, yeah, have you tried, like, setting up YouTube shopping yet? I'm like, I don't really feel like hawking Target. Like, I could, but I don't like Target that much. Or Walmart. But, like, Steam hasn't done anything explicitly evil yet. Just a couple of, like, kind of things. And so it's kind of easier for me to be like, yeah, I can support them enough. Well, I mean, I kind of have to. They're very much the industry standard. And also, like, Target and Walmart don't cover indie games, so it makes it tricky. So, like, my manager was specifically... I guess I should probably talk about it. It's not really a manager. It's a contact at YouTube who tells me about, like, new features, and then, you know, we kind of go back and forth on, like, if I use them, how I feel about them, some strategies about using them, so on and so forth. So I think, like, my first Monster Hunter Wilds video, I think, has a link to probably a Target listing of Monster Hunter Wilds. But I can't do that with indie games because, guess what? Nobody's selling indie games. Oh, did this guy just not have anything to say? I guess it makes sense if we're starting to get repeat things. Okay, we didn't lose my mech. For a second I thought we did. And like, even then I think I'm probably going to turn it off because I don't like Target. I don't want to be really promoting or supporting them that much. Especially in, you know, this kind of modern climate. But yeah, if I could do that with Steam, I'd be the happiest camper. Hopefully at some point YouTube convinces Steam to just have built-in links, because that would be so lovely. Even if it was one of those where even if you don't get the cut of the revenue, some of those deals also just give you a bonus for like, hey, you sold X amount through this thing. And so that can be just as valuable. This is like super nitty-gritty back end stuff, but it's one of those where like I would love to have affiliate links, but they won't let me. Okay, I'm gonna hop out and we're just gonna lift this sword. We're just gonna carry it right in. Hello, yes. Please take this sword for me. Bye. I really wish I could sell these things to this guy, but that would also take like a tremendous amount of time, so I understand why they don't. You know what this game didn't have was like landmines. That would have been really cool, actually. So you wonder, do you have characters living rent-free in your head? Not in the same way that I think other people do. I've definitely run into quite a lot of people. Did I hurt that guy by chucking a sword at him? That's extremely funny. But even affiliate links aside, like I'm doing totally fine. And frankly, there's a very real feeling of like, I'm gonna say pride and accomplishment, thanks EA, when I hear people like talking about playing the games that I've covered, or even just picking them up, because it's like, yeah, I actually made a difference. I have no idea if like the studio behind Metal Bringer even knows or cares to the extent that I'm like trying to champion this game. And that's fine with me. But that feeling of like, yeah, I when I cover games, people actually like take notice and care. At least in certain cases. I know I cover a lot of like games that aren't actually that good. Maybe not aren't actually that good, but a lot of games that are just kind of middle of the road. But there's always like a special feeling when I see a game like kind of explode in popularity in my own audience and then outside of that. So like Node Buster last year I covered, and it just slowly snowballed into the point where it was actually a pretty popular game. And that felt extremely good. But unfortunately, a lot of the Node Buster successor type games have not done as well, and I'm always kind of sad about that, because a lot of them are actually very good. Docket build. It is auto docket build. I don't even have to do anything. I can just park myself here and drink some water, which is good, because I'm having problems. It is allergy season for me, I think. Yeah, I bought the game after seeing your episodes. It's legitimately good. Like, to go back to the topic of games that don't really excite me anymore, or games not exciting me as much as they used to anymore. Like, this is one of those special ones where it's just like, yep, I am very much playing a unique game that I've never seen anything quite like before. And I've played plenty of third-person shooters and Muso games and roguelites. But the combination of all of those with like mecha build making, oh, it's so good. Wanderstream, you should do more of these. I would like to. I've just been busy. So I'm a night owl. I very much operate best from the hours of 9 until 3 a.m. Unfortunately, I live in an apartment where quiet hour starts at 10, and the floors are thin enough that you can hear the neighbors downstairs or upstairs, so I'm pretty sure the lady below me can hear me when I'm recording. And I feel kind of like a jerk for presumably kind of impinging on her peace and quiet by being talkative. Luckily she's older, so hopefully she doesn't hear me as much. But it's one of those, like, I know if there was like a younger family below me, I would actually have to seriously consider my work hours to avoid bothering them too much or being bothered by them, because every once in a while the lady has like her grandchildren over and I can hear them running around, I can hear them bumping into walls, and hear them playing on the piano, and so I know it's one of those where like you know, if I'm loud, then they can hear me, and so I don't want to say that I'm trying to be too muted, but I do not want to record past 9 o'clock unless I absolutely have to. And so the problem is I wake up at about noon, don't get started working until like 2 or 3, and then I have to eat dinner or something in there. And so I haven't exactly given myself a whole lot of time to stream lately, just because I haven't had like space in my schedule for it. And so I'm hopefully to get a house sometime so I can just have my own schedule again, where I can truly just be like, yeah, I'm just gonna stream from like 9 till midnight. We're gonna play some obscure RPG that appeals to me, or hey, I'm really hooked on this Metalbringer game. We're gonna just go nuts on this for a little while. Because currently one of the other problems is like it's not a big apartment, and so even beyond the time level, Shell has to hear me recording constantly, and she's trying to focus on her own work, and so that becomes tricky from a like wanting to, okay good, we didn't walk through the door, that becomes tricky from a not wanting to be recording constantly, and make it impossible for her to like write things and stuff like that. Yeah, once you get the app disk for tunneling, I think I have the app disk for that one. I didn't bring it with because I didn't feel like I needed it that much. Okay, let's beam shots go through walls so you can use ricochet without killing yourself. Good to know. I mostly didn't build for it because I don't need it. The only enemies I'm really worried about are the bosses, and those are like the one thing that I can't really ricochet against. I guess there is also mecha hell, but at this point I think I'm in a very good spot to just win regardless. Yeah, thin walls suck. Not to backseat. Have you looked into padding sound? So we do actually have noise canceling foam on the wall, but the walls are much thicker here. The problem is the floor. And unless I wanted to have like a really thick carpet underneath me, there's not an easy way for me to block the noise going downwards. Mostly I just want to have a nice big, I want to just have a nice big, like, basement for myself to work from. With, you know, good air conditioning and a ton of space. And gaming tables and, yeah, all sorts of stuff. But I can't get that until I actually have a basement. We almost got an interesting, like, we almost rented a townhouse instead of this one. Wouldn't have had a gaming basement, but it was much more sprawling. I love how my weapons are just blazing. Oh, that was the boss. I was like, why did we stop? Why are my guns dark? I have no idea. I seem to be fine. The answer is, of course I'm fine. Nothing can stop me at this point. We've got enough secondary chips. But yeah, how much damage am I doing per hit? Yeah, a couple thousand, give or take. But yeah, Square Kids foam mats. Yeah, but then I'd have to have like my chair on that. That sounds like it would be a pain. Once again, the easier option is to just do what I want to do anyway, which is get a house, rather than trying to jump through like a gazillion hoops to maybe soundproof an apartment for, you know, another year. And so as soon as I've got that set up, my schedule is probably going to be still chaos, just because I don't think I can keep to a schedule in the way that I used to. But it'll definitely be a lot more like, yeah, I'm just going to stream for a couple hours today, because why not, right? Because then I can actually stream, you know, at the hours that I want to stream, as opposed to the hours that I'm forced to stream by the environment that I'm in, give or take. We'll see how it goes. I mean, who knows? The market could just completely, like, lose its mind in the next year or two, and all houses become millions of dollars, no matter how small. At which point, you never know. Okay, come on. BuddyBot. So the problem is, I can't auto pick up chips without BuddyBot. I can kind of pick up some, but if they're in the doorway, I cannot get them. And unfortunately, he's a little goon. Oh, god damn it. He got stuck on top of a power box. Why are you dancing up here? Go away. Okay. I think I knocked him off. Yeah, he's free. How did my mech take a bunch of... Or, not my mech. How did my labor take a bunch of damage? I'm actually really confused by that sometimes. Is the top left my HP? Yes and no. So, the top left is my character HP, this guy. That's not supposed to go down when I'm in the mech. But every once in a while, yeah, it just randomly depletes. Maybe it's because my gun's overheating will do that? But no. Because that would be hurting my, that would be hurting the mech parts, not me. Like, I specifically have blaze resistance, which makes it so I'm not taking damage from overheating. Unless blaze was hurting me. Huh. I guess I should bring more fire resistance chips with me in the future. Okay. Oh, it's okay. We've got healing options. I'm gonna pop out. I'm gonna grab the fist. Let's see if I can sell it. Or not sell it. Keep it. Analyze. Oh, it's cheap. Perfect. I guess I'll just have to keep an eye out and probably go for well, hopefully acquire some more heat resistance. I was wondering why I went up to level 9. I guess there's our answer. Okay, let's go back to the chip shop for a second, just in case they sell something. Love your content, never seen you live before. I'm kind of inconsistent about my streams, more or less what I've been talking about. I wanna stream more often. I do enjoy streaming. The other problem is also just like, other projects probably should take precedence. So like I was talking about wanting to do more essay content, and like writing a 10,000 word script takes hours, and so does editing it and doing all the prep work and everything. And so it's like, I love streaming, but I do question whether or not like streaming is going to get me very far. Like back in the early days of Twitch and YouTube, just being there was enough to get you growth. Now it feels like you have to jump through all sorts of bells and whistles. You have to do special things. You have to be a special person in some way, shape, or form. And so kind of as part of that, unless you have like a weird gimmick, it seems like streaming, you really have to commit to doing like, not 24/7, but constantly, just to be able to, you know, grow a channel and keep it going. And I just don't have the, frankly, I'm going to say I don't have the health. That my allergies are genuinely bad enough that I get pretty stuffy and like sore throats here. I don't know if it's this apartment, this area, or it's just me getting older. But I can't record or stream for like 10 hours like I used to. And so as part of that, that just makes it much trickier to be, say, a full-time streamer. But I still do want to stream more often. I think it is a lot of fun. Especially because I enjoy finishing games on camera. I mentioned earlier I've been playing Xenoblade Chronicles X off camera. I love the game. I enjoy it so much. But I think I enjoyed it better back in the day when I was streaming and recording it rather than let's see, streaming and recording it rather than just playing it on my own. Because I think when I'm playing it on my own, I'm much more just kind of like, I don't want to say disinterested, but like a cutscene will come on and I'm like, oh yeah, I recognize this one. I'm just gonna like pull out my phone and just like fiddle with it for a little while until the cutscene ends. It's like, no, I have to not do that because that's actively making the game less interesting to me. Also, just like phone addiction is freaking dire. Okay, get the disc. I've been pretty good at cutting out the news. Like I uninstalled Reddit from my phone sometime last year and completely like just cut that off. And then I haven't been on Twitter in ages because it's Twitter. And like I know there's Blue Sky and I kind of spend some time on that, but it's still one of those where it's like I don't get much value out of those platforms and services anymore. So now I just read like probably too much manga. Let's see. But even then, it's still so easy to rack up hours and hours and hours just fiddling with my evil tech brick, as opposed to doing something more meaningful with myself. And that can include like just being slightly bored during a cutscene. It's like, no, I shouldn't do that. So that you get lonely without us wander. I mean, like, somewhat jokes aside, you're not fully wrong. There's a burn resistance. Okay, good. We did go to the next area. Because, yeah, we want to stack as many of those burn resistance chips as we can. Because I guess if I can burn myself to death by blazing too hard, then I should very much crank my heat resistance up even higher. Okay, we want to go here. Evil tech brick is evil and slowly bricking the brain. It kind of, sort of. Like, that's a good example. Well, okay. here's a weird one that's not quite the same. Because I can't exactly attribute this to phones necessarily. But one of the things I've started doing over the last 3 years, 2.5 years, ever since I moved back east, I've made a very intentional choice to start looking for older slash like used games, you know, hunting at old used game stores and stuff like that. Because as weird as it sounds, Steam makes it kind of too easy to find games. And so there's far less of a like, you know, oh man, I'm so excited. You know, I just got the latest copy of blah, blah, blah. Like when I was a kid, I remember going over to my friend's house. He had Golden Sun. I was like, holy shit, this looks cool. I want to try this for myself. And convinced my mother to let me pick up Golden Sun when we were out and about. And I didn't have my Game Boy Advance with me. So it was kind of this weird, frustrating situation where I couldn't actually play the game. But I wanted to absorb as much as I possibly could about it. And we were going, I think we bought the game first, and we were out on errands for like another hour and a half after that, or longer. I don't know. My memories of that time are kind of vague because it was like 25 years ago. More than 25 years ago? No, it was 25 years ago, give or take. And I was like super excited to play the game. And so I remember very vividly sitting in the changing room, having put on like, you know, a new pair of shorts to be like, oh yeah, do these fit? And then getting distracted by pulling out the Golden Sun handbook that came in the box and flipping through it, just like admiring the illustrations of the Jin in that game and reading every single page. And my mom was mad because I was taking too long because I wasn't trying on clothes. I was reading the manual for Golden Sun. Oops. I don't get that from games anymore, generally. You know, when was the last time any of you got hyped for a game that you just acquired to the point where, like, you were devouring even what's in the game manual? I mean, for starters, we don't have game manuals anymore. Yeah, the good old days of reading the manual while the family shops. Yeah. And, like, I don't want to just good old days this, but it is one of those where, like, some amount of digital convenience has kind of ruined us in terms of like information acquisition, possession acquisition, stuff like that. And so the experience that I got from the like flipping open the manual and getting excited about stuff. Oddly enough, we picked up some Warhammer Age of Sigmar Spearhead sets. And I haven't flipped through the manual yet, but my wife has been spending hours looking into like the core rulebook, which is just like a shit ton of lore in it, and illustrations and other things, and she's just been very excited about potentially getting into Warhammer. Yeah, missing the innocence of childhood enthusiasm, it's somewhat, but like you can still get that. It's just that we've ceded an amount of that to technological conveniences. So like to go back to tie that back into phones, reading headlines nowadays is not nearly as... It's just content, I think, is the problem. That anytime anything is on your phone, it is reduced to content. Even if it is something meaningful, but like social media interactions, spending time or like chatting with people on, you know, like, I mean, social media once again. Reading the news on social media, it's all just kind of blended into this content slop, rather than it being something that you've intentionally chosen to like interact with for the day, or for that period of time in the day. So like I used to have long conversations with my wife on AIM before we'd started dating, that it was our primary point of contact in college, because smartphones weren't really a thing. We didn't really have access to them. There we go. And so like she had a pay-as-you-go phone that was like 10 cents a text. or call or something like that. So like very much not the kind of phone that you're going to be texting somebody on constantly. But the hours that we spent chatting with each other on AAM was precious. I think to the point where she still has the like logs saved, which I recognize now actually would have been really smart of me to do as well. But oops, I'm a goofus and I wasn't thinking about it. But that like compared to say the intentionality and the personal connection of say writing a letter, sending somebody a message on Discord or text or whatever, it's just nowhere close to the same. Same thing as like interacting with somebody on social media. It's much more parasocial. It's much more disconnected, and therefore kind of this like weird, not really human interaction. It's technologically facilitated. There we go. Like tech facilitates a lot of these things, but it doesn't actually make them better. It just makes more of them, question mark. See, would you say it's more the constant availability delivered by phones or addiction delivery by the algorithm? I'd say it's both. That like the constant availability of everything made it too easy, but now that algorithms have started to take over all of it, now it's kind of taking me out of the equation. And so what I've been doing recently is going to old game stores. So like went to DC last fall for a friend's wedding, and as part of it we found an old used game store, and like a really impressively big one, and it was incredibly fun just going through that store, looking at all of these old games that I remembered from my childhood, or didn't. You know, there were a lot of games that I'd never seen before that I was like, whoa, you know, what is this? This actually looks really cool. And I'm gonna say kind of the hunt for buying a game again felt really good. I'll admit, I don't think I've actually played many of them. I've mostly been going through Ever Oasis on the 3DS, but that's been kind of slow because I don't give myself a whole lot of free time to play things on my own. And a lot of these games are on my PS2 and my GameCube, which I do not have hooked up, which makes it a little trickier. Yeah, I do read too much manga. Shell very much wants to drive that home, and it is true. God damn it. Every time I come out of that shop, I'm like wounded. It's like the shopkeeper takes a pound of flesh on top of my money, which is so funny. Okay, I could potentially keep some of these if I wanted to. We have the money for it. Let's see if we got some legs. Actually, do we not? Is it all heads? Ah, shoot. Okay, whatever. I've wanted to snag one of these tank heads for a while. Was not expecting to walk in on CRT graphics. It's got a pixel filter, but I love it. I think it's extremely cool. I know Shell was complaining about it a little bit, but I still think the pixel filtering on this was extremely well done. It looks very good. I still wish you could turn it off, but as far as games that look like they're PS1 era, this nails it. Let's see, what was I going to say? So apart from buying the old, like, used video games that I intend to play at some point, I've also been playing a lot of indie games because, like, old AAA games, me doing any kind of coverage for them helps no one. Me covering indie games helps the developers directly. Let's see. Snag this. But we've also been buying a bunch of like used board games, for example. So we would go, we just go to a local board game store that has a huge selection of old used games that people drop off, or new. Like, it's not uncommon for me to actually go to this place. Let's see if I can find some legs. Here we go. It's not uncommon for me to go to this store walk in and find something that I like legitimately do care about as a game. One that I was looking forward to, one that is rare, one that is like rare and hasn't been in production for ages. So like randomly walked in there a little while ago and found the Hand of Fate board game. I had no idea they ever even made a Hand of Fate board game. And I was frankly like shocked and awed that there was one, and I was able to just, oh wait, no, I think I already have this head. Yeah, we just acquired it. But I was kind of shocked and awed at its existence because, yeah, I'd never heard of it before. And it was cheap too. Like did not cost me much at all compared to, you know, what I would expect for something that's old, out of print, or even the companies that made it no longer exist. Because the oh, we already grabbed that hammer, of course. Oh, sell unwanted chips reduces my max health because of the... Oh, you're right. I do have that one that scales my health based on number of chips. So actually, in that case, I should probably not get rid of my chips at all. Though, I'm not sure if that's the case, because why would it put me down to half health? Do you think it would reduce my max HP by the amount of... Well, my total HP... My current HP by the amount that my max HP is reduced, question mark. But so I get, let's see. Sorry, there's actually dialogue here. I just don't actually care about it because none of these characters have anything meaningful to say. But that guy's ripsaw looks extremely cool. Oh gosh. I forgot. Game plays itself. Okay, did I destroy him? No, he's still here. Okay, there he goes. And unfortunately, the regular mechs can be a little dodgy and dangerous. Oh, what was I going to say? But yeah, just going to this old or this board game store is extremely fun, because rather than relying on like a digital algorithm to say like, oh man, you know what board game would be great for you, it's Clank Catacombs. And I mean, to be fair, Clank Catacombs is a very good game and I highly recommend it, but there's no algorithm in the store or online that's feeding that to me. It was a game that I kind of had to find, equal parts through like, you know, user ratings and recommendations. My friend Enna being like, Clank is my favorite board game ever made. Me playing it being like, yeah, this is pretty cool. And then finding out Clank Catacombs is Clank, but with randomized dungeons, which makes it even better in my opinion. And so like, the discovery, I guess this is the discovery of that game, was a lot of fun for me. And then like bringing it home, flipping through the manual, getting excited for what we were going to do, and actually playing it being like, yeah, this is as good as I was hoping it would be. It feels good. And so like, that's something I'm finding myself craving more and more as I get older. And so I'm kind of finding myself progressively more like resistant to and resentful. Oh, I guess we're done with this region. This, huh, because I've been through 3 of them. Weird. Let's see, I've been watching you for a while now, and this is the first game you've convinced me to buy. I'm playing it now. Hey, glad to hear it, and I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. It's just something about building mechs that is a lot of fun, but also in such a way that you're not, like, too pressed. I love Armored Core, but god, that game is hard. At least your first time through. I gotta go back to it someday, because I think it would be fun. Get that, unless you follow board game clubs, how do you even know what games exist? Yeah. Like, there's a couple of YouTubers that I trust to have, like, good recommendations. So, like, Shut Up and Sit Down's pretty good, and, what is it? It's Shut Up and Sit Down, and then there is... How am I forgetting? The problem is I know the YouTubers' names, not the channel name, unfortunately. Shoot, the one with F in the lane that I cannot remember off the top of my head. Okay, this is a problem. This guy actually hurts. Okay, in that case. Yeah, the problem with the autopods is they do not have the range that I'm looking for, so that puts me in kind of a tricky spot. However, I have a secondary gun that is extremely strong. Okay, I think that's all of them dead. Perfect. I know ProZD did a bunch of game coverage as well. He stopped, though. He actually, like, legitimately did stop with board game coverage, which is unfortunate. But I also kind of understand a little bit why. Board game coverage is a little bit more niche. And so, like, compared to his skit content, he's just not going to get as much viewership of it, which is kind of a darn shame. Vortex Weapon also works great on him. Oh, fun. I actually should have used it, considering I do actually have a Vortex Weapon, but eh. Alright. Oh, I should probably set up for this one. This is maybe Mecha Hell. There we go. And talking about playthrough channels going away. Yeah, that's a big sad for me. It is part of the reason why I would like to stream more often. Because it feels like kind of the live audience can kind of balance in such a way that you could do full playthroughs again, somewhat comfortably. I find it's very inconsistent, though. So, like, oh, can I actually... Oh, I can't get on top of these rafters. That sucks. I can get up here, though. Less things are going to be hitting me if I'm standing on a cargo container. Because I'm just a little bit up. I'm wrong. They're shooting at me. Wait, they are hanging out up here. Rude. I guess this mech doesn't have that much lift, maybe? I don't know. Maybe I'll just live in this corner. Yeah, the problem is a number of these enemies kind of outrange me. Yeah, that I love these autopods. They're not perfect for what I'm trying to do. But I also might need to mess around with some other things. Longer range, faster projectiles, stuff like that. I guess I'm right next to a spawner, which is not doing me any favors. Okay, we gotta get out. Which is really bad. Because I'm going to need a replacement torso. I'm either going to need a replacement torso or I'm going to need things to kind of chill out and let me relax a bit back here. Okay. If I hop back in... Damn it. Where'd you come from? Are they still spawning out of that hole? They might be. Damn it. There goes my torso. At least the rest of the parts are fine. Damn. The visual chaos is a little heavy. Yep. Mecha Hell is my least favorite location to go to. Yeah, it's kind of the downer of the full autopod build. Oh, what do we do? Because we can do some OS tuning. I'm at 303. I guess part of the problem is my labor defense is extremely bad. Well, I got money. Let's see. Oh, there goes all of my money, but hopefully that'll keep me from taking some damage. So I think I will unfortunately say the autopod build did not work. Sucks because I was kind of hoping to one and done this one. Well. That's a good set of legs. I like these. We'll just go with those. Just put a tank head on it. No. Be foolish. Okay, so we have a couple of different shields, but we don't really want those. Don't want autopods. We've tried that. It worked. This is beam, right? Beam machine gun. Which is better. So energy cost is higher on this one, does more damage, has pierce. Has more health, has more weight. Has more heat going for it. And yeah, do we want to try a double grav cannon build? I could. Really wish there was like a hit random color build. What color haven't I used yet? I don't think I've gone like full red. Let's just be big Angie. I will admit, might want to stay away from like jingoism. Let's see. It's like the framework. I think I'll leave that as is. Okay, my joints. I'll set my joints to red. Vernier. Oh, it's... Oh, the vernier is in, like, my boosters. Yeah, I think we'll keep them as that. And then cylinders. If you learned about how colors work in this game, I have. I will admit, I just don't want anything to do with it. It just sounds like a pain. Is that too much red? No. There is no such thing as too much red on this build. Probably that. Same thing with energy. The hereish. Okay. Good enough. Confirming color changes. Yeah, I technically kind of have a Evangelion color scheme over here. Alright. Oh, right. One other thing I gotta do before we go back out is we want to do app installation. So we want to grab tunneling. And we want to turn off autopods. Because we don't need autopods at this point. Let's see, Fiery Spirit is good. I think most of these are fine. Tunneling effect. Keep that one on. Okay. Let's see. Solid bullets have a chance of explosion when piercing enemies. I mean, we do actually have the pierce. Oh, I forget where I can change that, though. It's like one of these. Situation analysis. So now you can do piercing bullets. But I might also just allow it to do its own thing. How do you pronounce Evangelion? No idea. Don't care. Oh, did we want to crank up burn resistance? I think we do. Let's just max that out. This way, even if we're blazing, it doesn't matter. Was that tenacious slash? We don't need that. I'm not using it. I don't know if homing really... Oh, here it is. But yeah, we don't want to ricochet off of walls, because that would be probably bad. Targeting multiple enemies at once. Alright, perfect. That should be good enough. If you don't like color defense, you can just turn on the transparent option. I could. So, the main difference on this build versus the autopods is actually pretty minor. I think that is kind of the one downside on the autopods, is that ultimately they're not really better than just having two guns. I guess I could have had two autopods on the shoulders. Oh, you know what? Let's do that. Because I'm just gonna put the autopods on the shoulders and then have two regular machine guns. App installation. The only problem is I have to swap something out. Let's see, what do we have? We can lose one level of discharge for autopods. Okay, assemble. So we want to swap these out with pods. I probably should have done this to begin with. But alas. Okay. So hopefully what happens... Yeah, there we go. Okay. So now my guns and autopods can fire independently of each other. This is going to be hell on my energy levels, I'm sure. But at least I have separate independent weapons that can fire at a much longer range. And unless I'm mistaken, I know with how this game handles weaponry. Unless I'm mistaken, with how this handles weaponry, the more of the same weapon you have equipped, like if you're dual wielding them, it splits the effectiveness in like half. However, maybe by having two sets of two, well, so maybe with the autopods, it was splitting everything in effectively a quarter. And so by splitting everything in like two halves instead, we've doubled our firepower. Maybe not. I do also have a drone body, it's true. I'd forgotten about that one, to be honest. I'm also not sure if it's better or worse than the one I already have. Okay, let's see. So what are we doing? Do we just get out of here? I think we do. There aren't a whole lot of spawns left. Forget. Is this the drone thing? No, that's just the cannon shoulders. I'd do a Gundam run. I started with a lot of Gundam runs. The thing is, at this point, I'm trying to win. Thematic builds are fun, but really the only thing that would make a Gundam run be a Gundam run in my head for this one would be big lasers that cause a bunch of explosions after sweeping through an area. And alas, I don't think we have that as an option. We really need to get weakness exploit. Well, I guess one other option I have is I could farm a little bit less and just head for the door repeatedly. A lot of enemies to delete, though. It's really the straggler groups that make it maybe a little bit less worthwhile. Isn't that done in, like, every mech show, though? I will admit I haven't watched enough mech shows. I've been kind of on a lot of anime lately for a lot of reasons. I think most of it boils down to the way they handle like character writing. I feel like has kind of degraded. I think it was always bad in various ways, but the current light novel generation of like anime and manga has made things worse, at least for me. And so I don't go out of my way for like too much anime anymore. Buddy. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to just let him do his own thing for a bit. Or not. Come on, dude. There's a bit in the corner. There we go. Alright. Is there a reason to stick around? Kind of. Because we are getting a bunch of rice balls here. Yeah, Escaflowne, you're welcome. Oddly enough, I don't think I like Escaflowne. I love the idea of it, but that is an anime that is actively held back by the fact that it is a love triangle, and it annoys me. I recognize that that's like true of an insanely large number of anime out there. Yeah, I guess, well, it's more than a love quadrangle. It's kind of like a weirdo pentangle that is just doing strange things. Because, like, the main girl's in love with two different boys. Each of those boys have at least one other secondary love interest. And then some of those love interests have their own separate love interests as well. To the point where it gets exceptionally messy, and I just want the, like, actually kind of delicious mecha political drama that, you know, is clearly the sideshow to what's-her-face Makigon Boys. There we go. I love reading. Sad stuff tends to devolve into harem now. If I'm looking at manga and I see the harem tag pop up, I'm like, nope. There's actually some that I really liked the idea of. And then they introduce the second female lead. Or even to the point where it's like the main character has two love interests that they just accept both of them. I'm like, nope, I don't know, just does not do it for me. I remember it. Enjoying the beginning of, is it Arifureta? I forget how that one's pronounced, but, you know, pretty classic isekai. The guy gets trapped in, like, murder dungeon and manages to get his way out with, like, a vampire girlfriend on the other side, which is like, okay, that's cool and kind of cute. And then they introduce, like, 5 other women in the next, like, 30 chapters, and it's like, nope, I am no longer interested in this one. It was cute before, and now it's just weird. Especially because he was, like, randomly abusive to multiple of them. I think, so this is something that I have against, like, a lot of light novel-based anime and manga, is that a lot of light novels are written in a vacuum. They're written by one person without an editor, who likely has never written, you know, that much professionally beforehand. And so, well, you can get these, like, really fresh, interesting ideas and concepts. Often that core idea only lasts for the first 30-40 chapters. So they get a really good hook going, like a really cool world, a really cool set of, you know, things to carry this story in. with no idea of how to resolve them in any kind of meaningful fashion. And so it just gets stuck in this like bizarro pseudo adventure life slice of life with no like with no semblance of like how to resolve itself, and so it gets frustrating and slow. And so I find a lot of anime gets mired in that no matter what. Which ironically is why I usually go for mecha anime, because the mecha usually on their own are able to kind of push the plot forward in some meaningful fashion. The authors know their story will most likely not be published to a conclusion. They don't have an endgame plan. So this starts the only good part. Yep. And so I'm finding myself craving more stories that have like a very clear beginning, middle, end that actually end at that point. And they are fewer and farther between than I'd like them to be nowadays. Luckily, I could just go back and read old stuff, so it's not that bad. But it's made me much more reticent about like buying or watching or whatever certain shows. This is the last time I was like really into an anime. Shell and I got into Carolyn Tuesday last year. That was exceptionally good, because that had a very clear kind of, well, it had a very clear beginning and middle. Felt like the ending was a little sudden, which was like the one downer for it. It felt like they had a bunch of unresolved things that just gets kind of washed away by like anime friendship at the end. But you know, up until that point, it was a very good story with a really interesting take on a future, even if I wouldn't say it's particularly realistic, judging by modern life. Macross is cool as hell too. I love the idea of Macross. I need to go back and watch the old stuff. I tried watching one of their like OVA movies recently, like 10 years ago with my wife. It's like one of the more 3D-y looking ones. And it must have been like a plot continuation of one of the previously existing Macross movies, but it was just like hard nonsense and I could not get into it. I think the last Macross I tried watching was the one with the green-haired girl that had the ability to like sing to bugs and get them to do things. I thought that was kind of neat, but it also kind of suffered from having multiple female leads and awkward relationship drama rather than like cool mecha and sci-fi stuff, question mark? I don't know. I tried rewatching Heroic Age, but I watched that in high school and I don't remember being terribly impressed. And we rewatched it recently, and it was actually not as bad as I think I had thought it was. But they had a fan service character, a buxom, like, admiral character, which, okay, fine, you know, I'll accept a lady with big booba if, like, that's the only thing. The problem I was running into with it is that her chest varied massively from one episode to the next. It was actually, like, disconcerting how much, like, her chest size would change on an episode-by-episode basis. To the point where I was, like, taking photos of my TV to be like, I'm not going crazy. Her boobs got smaller. And then later on, I was like, wait, no, now they're huge. What the hell? It was, not something I was expecting to get fixated on, but there we were. Yeah, she was a great character too, like legitimately one of the best in the series, but because of just how buxom they made her, it cheapened her as a character, which was kind of tragic. Okay, come on. I want to strike gold. Though I think I already have that one. Okay, that was Macross Frontier that I'd bounced on. Ooh, this is dense. Okay. I think one of the problems I'm running into is I don't need to go full bore on these things. My guns shoot until something is dead, but because the shots move so slowly, they're overshooting. It's not that big of a deal. As someone who reads a lot of manga, I can tell you most anime don't get a second season because the first season's the only good part. Well, drops off the cliff immediately. Oh, there was one that I really liked. The manga for, I think it was called like 7th Reincarnation or something like that, or 7th Time Loop, where effectively the character had been looping through life like seven different times, and in each life she was kind of like a different profession, and so like her current iteration was kind of the sum of all of those experiences. And the first, I'm gonna say like 12 chapters of the manga, yeah, and every single time she died more or less due to the actions of one guy. And so in the final iteration, she's like, sure, I'll marry him. And it was such a strong start, and then it just gets stuck. And like, maybe that's just the anime, because the anime was just like, oh shit, we need to actually have some kind of resolution so that there's like a villain. And so there was, the entire plot premise was centered around like, her like alchemy teacher from a previous iteration wants to make gunpowder to sell guns to people, and she doesn't want that because guns are bad. But like, it's such a rushed like plot arc after a fairly strong start, and just like undercut every bit of momentum. I think the manga had better pacing. I'm sure the light novels are pretty decent, but it's still one of those where it feels like some of these stories would be better if they were just like a short loop. What's the one that I really like? Ah, shit. Unfortunately, I'm really bad at titles because a lot of them are in Japanese, so it makes it trickier. Well, that was quick. I like Dungeon Meshi. That was a fantastic one. It definitely did get a little episodic Monster of the Week style, but that was kind of its strength too, because that's the point of it. Let's see, what's the other one? Witch Hat Atelier is extremely good. Though that one currently doesn't have an end in sight, whereas I think Dungeon Meshi ended after only like 12, 15 volumes, somewhere in there. I think that's kind of my thing, is that like, once an anime or a manga has gone past its 10th volume, it needs to be probably working towards some kind of ending, or it needs to be the infinite story like One Piece. I was kind of having that problem with, oh, what was it called? Kaiju number 8? I need to go back to that one. I'm sure it's actually fine. But with both like Kaiju number 8 and My Hero Academia, I liked them, but it just felt like it was taking too long to go to the places that it needed to. And it was like nice to have these longer stories where they could really get into the characters and stuff. But a lot of anime suffers from like the idea of kind of looping back on itself. You know, getting mired in, you know, oh, it's a new enemy that showed up and they need to be defeated too. And it's like, I don't know, I'd be kind of fine if it was just like mostly focused on defeating this one guy and nothing more. I think it's easier to pick up those chips now, but I could be wrong. If you haven't seen Frieren, it's a really good watch. I want to, but I don't think I'm emotionally ready for it. Like, I've been, I don't want to say, like, pretty depressed. I've been in a funk for a while, and I feel like Frieren would destroy me, and not in a way that I want to handle. I'd rather take my sad in extremely small doses, no matter how good it is. God, this is so goofy. Yeah, I think the problem I was having with the auto guns was they would only lock onto things once I was close enough. This lets me pre-shoot things, and so I can kind of just follow my gunfire around. ever read Pet Shop of Horrors? I don't think so, no. What is the one I really like? I need to just do a video at some point, just talking about my favorite manga that I read. So that actually feels like it would be a easy enough video for me to make, and then I could actually maybe get some recommendations. Because I'm always open to reading more. I just have very specific, like, I'm gonna say ick points that as soon as something crosses that threshold, I cannot enjoy it. Fan service definitely goes up in there. Like, very much I need manga to have characters that, women specifically, that aren't just a trope or, just eye candy. That it gets really frustrating when it's like, you know, here's this, like, vibrant cast of characters, and then the one hot girl whose only purpose is to be hot in the background, and it's like, Especially when that character is then a love interest, because then it just makes it feel even cheaper. Okay. Let's see, Apothecary Daggers is a good one. I don't think I've read that one. Yeah, Shell and I got into Snow White with the Red Hair, which is also kind of like an apothecary one. That was cute. Though, kind of plotting. It was definitely one of those where, like, the anime itself didn't really feel like it had much of a resolution. It had a cute start, but it kept going. Then I tried reading them at, the manga, and the manga was just, like, so much more. It's like, oh, okay, this is actually, like, a tremendous thing. I watched Hajime no Ippo, or however that's pronounced, the boxing one. Maybe? Yeah, I will admit, I hate to say it, I am really on sports. I did not care for sports when I was younger. I did them because that's what was expected of me, but literally the only sports anime I've ever enjoyed was Air Gear, and I only enjoyed it up to where the anime stopped, and then even then the way the anime stopped was super garbage. But it was better than how the anime or the manga ended, because the manga went places and those places were not good. Like, hate to say it, anytime an anime involves like an American president as a lasting character is usually the point where I like check out. That's almost always my jump the shark moment. Like, if they're included as just a generic politician, okay. Like, I'll take that, but when it's actually like, no, this person is important in this story somehow, I'm like, I don't know, can't do it. Shell asks, what about Ni no Kuni 2? I almost thought that was going to be extremely fun. And then that game was kind of just wasted opportunities. I don't know if you guys have played it yet or even seen it. Ni no Kuni 2, you're playing as the American president, which I thought was very novel. But then he gets aged down because of weird isekai magic, which I thought was very boring. Yeah, and this is like after he was hit by a missile in his limo, so it's like, okay, this is interesting, where's it going? And the answer is, no, he just learns the meaning of friendship or something, and then goes back to Earth after he's done. And I was just so bland about that game by the time I got to the end of it. It had neat ideas, but the writing was just so, like, nothing. But can you be a dictator? No, I think that's part of the problem. Like, not to say that, like, a cutesy anime needs to have you become a tyrant, but the fact that the main character was the president was such a, like, nothing part of that game. Like, it had no bearing on what was going on. The most you could say was, like, oh, he's teaching this like, young princeling how to be a good leader, but, like, even then, you could have just had it be, like, a wandering mercenary who just kind of adopts the kid and does the same thing. And yeah, clearly he was not a very good American president if he was getting hit by missiles. I mean, to be fair, I can see why people would target American presidents with missiles if they could. Just in terms of, like, destabilizing the world or political gains or stuff like that. But I don't think it's a good idea in real life. And so, even in the video game, you never really find out who sent that missile. And when he gets isekai'd back to Earth, the missile just doesn't fly? Question mark? Like, he just goes back to Earth and everything is fine. It's like, okay, I guess he's just learned how to be a better leader by being around this kid, question mark. I was confused and frustrated. And it's like, no. Because from what I remember, he was put back to like the exact point where he had gotten hit by that missile. Because it was just confusing. I know this is like a kind of weird topic to bring up at this point, but it's one of those where it's like, I have such a like weird stickler point of if you were going to include a real life anybody, you have to do something fancy with it. It's usually why I like settings that aren't just Earth as well. So like, or either aren't Earth or are so far in the future that it doesn't matter. Like I really liked Ghost in the Shell as a setting because it was nicely analogous to a lot of modern problems, while also being, you know, speculative sci-fi. With a bunch of, you know, things associated with that as well. Yeah, so to go back to Xenoblade X, which I've been playing on my own, I am weirded out constantly by the fact that the freaking city is called New Los Angeles, and the city walls just have, like, the United States written on the side. It's not bad, but it's such a, like, taking me out of the game constantly. It's the reason why, like, I think Sonic the Hedgehog, oddly enough, did it quite well. They had a president, and he said things, but he wasn't supposed to be any specific president. He was just kind of like a vaguely, you know, middle-aged white guy, and that's all that needed to be said about him. And for the most part, like, the cast's interactions with the US government was instead interacting with Gun, the, you know, quasi-military whatever group that was under the American government, kind of, sort of. And it works, because it's like, what is Gun? I don't know. It's kind of like what is Sword and Shield in the Marvel universe. Like, instead of involving pre-existing actual military organizations and whatnot, you can instead have this other hypothetical thing that you can just write whatever you want about, and it doesn't matter as much. Keep pressing the self-destruct button, and I need to stop. Okay, I'm just gonna hang up for a bit. Yeah, modeled after LA, but it doesn't feel like that at all. Not in the slightest. It's actually very weird. Like, I hate to... What, this turd has just snuck up on me and chucked a missile at my back. Rude. Like, having been to LA, nothing about the city in Xenoblade Chronicles X matches LA. It's got a couple of skyscrapers, sure. And, like, I guess the outdoor shopping plazas kind of look like houses from... Or, houses. They kind of look like some of the plazas from LA. But... as like a speculative science fiction game, I don't know if you guys have seen Xenoblade Chronicles X and know what I'm talking about, but the entire premise is you were living in a city that was kind of aboard a spaceship. It was the like residential area where everybody lived, and it's in this like big dome in the center of the actual ship, but the ship breaks apart on impact, so all you have left is this city chunk. But if you actually like go into and explore this city, you discover that, I have not fought this boss. Either I haven't fought this boss, or no, I just haven't fought them in a while. Because I don't remember them having hands. Oh, they're not going to have hands for long. Bye. What is even left? I don't know. Is it just a hand? Oh no, there's a head in there. Well, that was nice and easy. There's the last hand. Did I kill the hand last? I did kill the hand last. Let's see. So what was I going to say about this? So the big problem I have with it is it has this kind of big skyscraper district. And it's like, okay, that kind of makes sense. This could have all been like packed away on the ship and been fine. The problem that I have is that the rest of it is this like big open space with like 20 suburban houses and then like a shopping plaza that, yeah, you could probably find in San Diego area. With like outdoor eateries and cafes. But like this is packed away on a spaceship and it's this just massive thing with tons of empty space and it's like half built. It's like, okay, I can kind of accept the half built part, but why the hell do they have suburban houses? And also streets and cars in this, you know, speculative science fiction game. Like, I know America is extremely car-centric, but even then, you think if you're going to be rolling around in a, like, you're going to be reinventing human society from the ground up on a new planet that you've escaped to, I don't think I'd start with streets and cars and suburbia. I think I would probably have some, like, really nice high-density housing to make up for the fact that, how are you going to house all of these people that you've brought to this new planet? Oh yes, we're just going to reinvent suburbia and make people drive cars half an hour to get to the grocery store. Ah, it's the perfect epitome of human culture. It's like, where's the train? I know this is like such a bugbear, but it is one of those where like I'm actually livid that there are no trains. Public transportation is generally awesome. It has some issues, yes, but good, extremely fast Japanese / like European public transportation is extremely nice and much more practical for, say, setting up on an alien world where you're going to have who knows how many people going from point A to point B as opposed to giving every single person a car. Question mark. This is all fake. Shell's wondering am I on the surface of the planet? Nope. This is underground within this world. Yeah, more fake streets. Oh yeah, this game also has this problem. Though there are subway stops. But I think there are also cars. So, question mark. Let's see. Mechs are expensive, wouldn't be reasonable as transportation. But a train, though? God damn it. I keep pressing the self-destruct button instead of the map button. Yeah, I think this is the correct choice. That having the autopods and then my own guns. Because the autopods I couldn't control at all, so I couldn't point in a direction. But with my own guns, it's just like, oh yeah, there's an enemy, god die. Let's see, anything else? Unfortunately, the enemies just slowly clown car out of their holes here. Makes this a little slow. Now, did I already kill a mid-boss here, or did we... No, I don't think we killed one yet. Okay, anything else? But yeah, I'm really enjoying Xenoblade Chronicles X, but there's just a couple elements of it that get to me from a like speculative science fiction level. I really like sci-fi where they really put in the effort to kind of invent new technology, if that makes sense. Yeah, I went to Minnesota for a convention a few years ago, and their public transportation made it super easy to not have to drive anywhere for it. It was a good time. I love the light rail system in Minneapolis. I would move there if I could, but I don't know if that's going to be in the cards. I'm excited to be going there on vacation at some point, soonish. Though he says, do not say the dates you're going to be gone for, which actually is probably very valid. God damn, I cannot hit this guy. It's probably why I should have a melee weapon. Is he just dodging everything? Wait, I know the solution. What are we doing? I'm so confused. My character, like, will not fire the ball at him. It fires it a different direction. I will hit you with all of my balls somehow. There we go. How the hell? I might have to get melee weapons. Because somehow this guy has become immune to bullets. At least he's not healing. At least this charge weapon does not require charging. So I can just ball storm everything. I will kill you eventually with spin or whatever. Like, small chance he could kill me. The fact that I cannot. He has a sliver of health. He's been overheated forever, and I have not hit him at all. There we go. Cripes. Okay, there's my mech. Yeah, this is going to be an issue. We might actually want to snag some of the lightsabers. The only immediate problem is I haven't actually equipped any of the chips related to using them. So my beam weapons are going to be a little on the weak side. Let's see. I hate that one. Nope, that's the wrong button. I think I'm just gonna hope for the best. It's not like that guy was actually threatening to me. But that is a serious problem if I'm unable to hit him at all. Should have used the enemy mechs. I'm not sure if they would have been really better. I guess I could have maybe hopped into some of them. But that guy's got like a big clunky axe, which I don't think would hit anyway. I'm just gonna go to the next area. I don't want to spend my entire day playing this game, but I do want to beat it, like, desperately. Yeah, I think the problem is my projectiles never got strong enough that they could actually finish off fast targets. Which does beg the question of, I wonder if I could go for like an exceptionally fast, like, on foot build at some point. Probably. I've been a huge fan of yours for years. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, today's just kind of a no-bones day of, well, here's a game that I really want to finish. Let's do it. Which I should do more often, just kind of as a casual thing. Just, the one downside to streaming is can't take breaks. And boy, I've gotten kind of addicted to taking a break. Record a video, stop for half an hour. Okay. We figured out how to get the good ending. Somebody had said that they just had to beat X amount of Voss labor on a run. And so I'm just doing a very complete run in hopes of just getting it to show up automatically. We're not getting any more logs, so I do wonder if it's one of those that it's more likely to show up if you have a specific... Okay, let's try this. Because it's a pretty good weapon, hard to dodge, and it still gives me a machine gun to work with. Really wish you could still dual wield. Gun kata would be very fun with this kind of game. But yeah, I like this one. It's got a actually controllable charge move. Okay. Oh, you have to be at full labor health at third deity. Oh, is that it? Yeah, I lost my mech earlier. And so that must have been the issue. Because yeah, I was not full health. Well, that's good to know. Yeah, only weapon I might want to swap in is the just kind of more lightsaber short blade. I haven't used twin blades at all. I think this is a physical weapon. I can use twin blades for once. I think one of the problems I have with melee weapons is that I'm so much more vulnerable to being knocked around. But I mean, it still works. I wonder if my autopods get blocked, like stopped in a flinch. I hope not. A critical hit healing build. Is crit healing only for the labor? I think it is. Ooh. Oh, but that's a right weapon. Dang. A left weapon shinobi blade might be just as good. It's got a better, like, AoE spin to it. But I don't know how much it matters. Is there stuff on the other side of the canal? Yeah. Oh, God. Fortunately, I don't know if I have the drop attack upgrade. Yeah, if I really wanted to be careful here, I could go for the laser chest weapon. But I found that one to be boring. There we go. I'm very glad I don't have to worry about heat with, like, any of my builds at the moment. Guess I should probably... Oh. Go through a new area. Mash that button too hard. It's fine. Don't need to stick around there. Should probably undisable some of the chipsets. Specifically, like, I don't know if Thrust Wave or any of the, like, other melee weapons. Oh, right, because I had originally disabled them... I'd originally disabled them specifically because of the potential that I could get them to not show up in the drop pool. But alas. Yeah, I think the autopods are actually a pretty good complement here in terms of just doing a decent amount of damage. Because yeah, they can finish off the stragglers that me sword slashing through does not get. Here we go. Oh, so if it means I don't have to be full health, or if it's just be full health by the time you get to the third deity, I think one, I should probably let the robot carry a bunch of rice balls with him. But that means we don't have to actually linger super hard. Where is the robot? And how many rice balls does he have? Possibly none? Yeah, it doesn't have any rice balls at the moment. But we should make sure he has at least a rice ball on hand. Another mech game coming out called Doll's Nest. I think I heard somebody recommending that one. I need to look into it. I should probably go back through and just go through as many of my mech games. Because there's another one that I really like called Grandveer. I already did a video on it a little while ago, but it is also a roguelike, also kind of long, but it's much more mech warrior. Like, this is, I would say, like, extremely anime Armored Core. Maybe Muso Armored Core. Whereas Grandveer is like, it's so mech warrior in comparison. Much slower, more plotting, much more dangerous. You can't eat hits. Healing in the middle of the run is tricky. I think it's doable. There are ways to heal, but it's not like it's not a readily accessible thing at the very least. And so I found myself really enjoying that one as well. I don't know when it's coming out, but I should probably do another video on it one way or another. Because I think I beat it. Oh, right. That's what happened. I beat it, and then I immediately walked off a cliff and died permanently. And I was kind of upset about that. Anime-style Muso Armored Core would slap. Musos in general are awesome. I really wish we got more of those. Like, good for Koei Tecmo to put out a new Dynasty Warriors game that most people like. I have limited interest in it myself because it sounds like they spend way too much time hyping up your extremely boring silent protagonist character. And I don't know, I just have no interest in that kind of story. Like, if you were just playing as Guan Yu and everybody's hyping you up, okay, I can work with that. But just some, like, guy that everybody is, like, not even subtly about loving way too much. Just like, nah, I don't need that. I need people to fawn over me. Because it always feels kind of, well, I mean, it is artificial. It's a video game doing that. I always find games with silent protagonists have serious problems with that. That because the character is functionally no one, but also a stand-in for the player, you can't be mean to them. And so a lot of developers just write it that your like classic silent protagonist character has to be perfect and flawless and everybody loves them. And that's really weird. It's the weapon I want. But it's for the wrong hand. Could probably find another machine gun, but eh. It's fine. I haven't been using Twin Blade anyway, and I should probably level it up. Baffles me that more devs don't try their hands at Musos. Why is Omega Force the only one? Same for enemy spam sandwiches like Earth Defense Force and so on. I was really disappointed in the Super Robot Wars. Was it Super Robot Wars? No, Custom Mech Wars? Whatever the mecha game by, I think it was Sandlot? The Dynasty Warrior, or not Dynasty Warriors, the clearly like custom mech EDF. Because that game could have been so good if they just had you fight the EDF enemies, but in a customizable mecha instead. And for some reason you don't, and it's just confusing. Rather have no dialogue than bad dialogue any day of the week. Yeah, yeah. Like, how do I describe it? I don't know. It feels like a lot of games nowadays are very much made for mass market appeal. And it makes sense, you know. You want to have a good story, you want to have good characters, you want to have good environments and mechanics and all of these things. But I find some degree a lot of games that try to do all of these things end up kind of succeeding at none of them. Okay, that's definitely a physical weapon. I don't actually know if that matters too much for this build. I'm trying to think of... I guess part of the problem is I don't play a whole lot of AAA games to begin with, so maybe I'm not a very good person to talk about this kind of thing. Well, he went down extremely fast in comparison. Let's see. Brain elsewhere. What was I playing? Because I've definitely played some games recently where it just feels like all of these things were added because they're to be expected. Oh, I mean, maybe not the same. I was watching Shell play the more modern, like, Alone in the Dark game that kind of flopped for, I'd say, a multitude of reasons. But one of the things that I found myself constantly distracted by was that for how much money they spent on getting two famous actors to be their protagonists, they didn't put nearly as much effort into... Here, let's actually swap this, because I like this machine gun better. Yeah, that's the good stuff. But yeah, for how much money they'd spent on getting two famous actors to be their protagonists, they didn't do a very good job of making the characters look good. I recognize, like, really realistic character visuals is extremely difficult and hard to do. But that I find myself, like, craving stylization in so many of these games. And being baffled by the lack of stylization, I guess. Without bad dialogue, you can't really appreciate good when it comes along, though. I think it depends. I think just it's okay to have games that are just storyless. I guess, maybe it's not a good example of this, because I know the, like, Souls games actually do have good dialogue, but you could have removed all of the story from those and it probably would have been fine. You know, you're just some dude going around this world fighting things with limited explanation why. You can even have a cryptic ending of, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that, or maybe I can read into kind of the pantomime of what's going on. I'm thinking of Shadow of the Colossus specifically, that I think that only has, like, a margin of dialogue. Whereas, like, if we're talking about silent protagonists and writing and whatnot, I will always beat the same drum of Crosscode is the poster child for how to do character dialogue incredibly well for a silent protagonist, and that... How am I... Is it because of heat? No, it shouldn't be. I'm actually worried I'm not going to be able to see the true ending, if only because I'm just randomly going to have my dude injured. Let's see. Shocking to me that anything with a budget 10 million is going to have bad writing. Guess it's that hard to do. It's definitely that executives don't actually value their writers. So, okay, there's a couple of reasons why, quote-unquote, especially for bigger budget games, the writing can be terrible. One, it's because the bigger a game is, the more likely there are going to be too many cooks in the kitchen. That you are going to have, say, executives that have specific things that they want from a narrative level. So anywhere from just wanting, you know, to get some point across to have a character do a thing, to include certain details, to not include certain details. The other issue is, especially for the big games, nowadays they tend to get reinvented a lot. This is sincerely like a huge issue for the games industry, but a lot of games get mired into kind of development hell, where, you know, it might be originally a 3-year plan, but it balloons out to a 7-year development cycle, and somewhere along the way it gets rewritten like 7, 10, 12 times, where, you know, maybe the original ideas were there, but somebody else comes along and takes over, or, you know, puts their thumb on the scale and says, no, this needs to be this now. Easiest, if divisive, example would be like the modern Star Wars movies, because the first one was J.J. Abrams, the second was Rian Johnson, and the third one was other people, and then J.J. Abrams again. Because, yeah, they got rid of a couple of people. Like, it was originally supposed to be, I think, all J.J. Abrams, but then he did his own, like, he split off to do his own thing for a bit. And then Rian Johnson tried to do something else, which was not what J.J. Abrams was trying to do, and so a lot of, like, plot points that got set up in one were ignored in the subsequent one. And so this created this kind of awkward situation where you effectively had too many people writing the same movies, and so, yeah, a lot of plans, ideas, and concepts just got left on the cutting room floor. And while that still kind of happened with older movies, there was some level of a, ooh, do I want to, nah. I do actually like that sword, but I don't think that's the laser one. Oh no, this is, I don't actually know. One way or another, I want to get this axe into a, get this axe into one of these. There we go. And so, like, I don't want to get too deep into the controversies behind the Star Wars movies. It's just that was one of the primary issues with them in general, is that they were being written by too many different people. And also, Disney, I'm sure, had certain preferences and things that they wanted to get done as well. And so, like, it wasn't even just these people's singular decision. It was also, like, some board members had preferences and things that they wanted to get done or accomplished or included. You know, either to appeal to certain audiences or to sell certain bits of merch. Like, notice how they really focused on those, like, weird rodent things in the second movie? Yeah, the porgs. Those were great merchandise, I'm sure. And that, you know, would those have even been thought of in a fully original creation? I mean, maybe. That's, Lucas definitely came up with a lot of weird shit, but so much of that was because it was kind of Lucas's vision from start to finish. And so it was, I want to say, a little bit easier to kind of accept some of the quirks of the original movies, because it very much was this one guy's vision. Even if, in a lot of cases, it was kind of stumbly and messy at times. Yeah, can't attribute it all to him. I mean, by all accounts, like, I was watching some extra stuff. Apparently the original version of Star Wars was, like, so terrible. And his wife and Spielberg came in to say, like, actually, like, we need to change these things, and more or less they came in and fixed everything. And they sure did. Now, is this a physical or a beam? Solid slash. I don't actually know if it matters. I don't know what weapon I have, or weapon set I've got set up, and I have no enemies to chop at the moment. So I'll just stick with the B-Max. It's pretty good. Okay. Well, at least we've survived mecha hell with no problems. Ewoks were just toys waiting for the movies to come out. Yeah. Though, I'll at least say the Ewoks were kind of fine, but maybe that's because I first encountered them when I was very young. And so it was kind of easy for me to just be like, yeah, sure, whatever. And maybe going back to them as an adult, it's like, maybe not. I don't know. I think part of it is, one of the big ones is the Ewoks just didn't talk. I have so much higher of a tolerance for characters if they don't say anything. I mean, yeah, they yub-nub, but they're not saying things. They're not, like, communicating with characters. In fact, they're not even characters. The Ewoks very much were just, like, bonus grunt soldiers for the rebellion, with a very convenient, with a very extremely convenient motivation that instantly allies them with the main characters without having to, like, do any major negotiation. It's just like, nope, the Ewoks hate the Empire just as much as you do. Cool. Let's move on. What is this weapon? Oh. Oops. That's the shotgun. We don't want that one. And yes, I know they were going to eat everybody until C-3PO kind of became their weird deity. But even then, like, it was kind of still very much not the primary point of the movie was to recruit the Ewoks. And even when the Ewoks were fighting, they were just there. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too forgiving. It just felt like, okay, the Ewoks kind of fit. I think I just have some gripes about the Gungans, because it was very much a long, drawn-out, like... I mean, mostly just Jar Jar Binks. But, I mean, flip side, Jar Jar Binks apparently was extremely popular amongst kids, so who knows? The wild one that always amuses me is that Jar Jar Binks was very popular with kids. No one actually wanted, Anakin Skywalker. That his inclusion was did not pull well, both for kids and for adults. That the child character was not an effective choice. Shell and I tried watching Battlestar Galactica recently. You got sentient bullets. You can do a slow, long-lasting bullet with pierce and ricochet. It'll hunt your enemies down. I don't know if it will is the one concern. God, I love the ninja swords. I think they're probably the best weapon in this game, just in terms of, like, core functionality. I cannot jump. I cannot jump. Who cares? Yeah, like, the range in which the ninja blades can cover is just night and day in this game. Oops. Oh no, that is the correct one. I'll just switch the gun for a bit. Okay. Yeah, sad part is I'm not going to be able to get anything more here, but that's fine. Oh, am I actually taking damage from overheating? Oh, I shouldn't be. Grab that rice ball. Oh, and there's this extremely cool scythe axe thing. Sure. I think it's considered a polearm. We don't have a garage on this map, do we? No. We do have another rice ball somewhere. Also have fast bullets. Okay, let's try this. There's a guy here. Do we actually care? I don't know. Wait, where's Buddy? Is he actually on this side? I don't see him. Oh, is he stuck in the conveyor belt again? I know that's happened before. Yeah, I lost a fair amount of health from the shot bug. As long as I'm full health going into the final bosses, it's not that bad. Now, do I want to get out of Mecha Hell? I think I do. There's not really much of a reason for me to stick around here. Ooh, this is a very good start. A protected corner, one entrance. Oh yeah, we are taking damage from overheating. But is it me? I'm noticing my character is taking some hits. Oh, maybe from explosions? The problem is if we're going into a if we're going to a boss fight where I have to be full health going into the final boss, that's a problem. If just even getting hit can toast me down a little. Are you working towards getting the true ending? I'm trying. I don't know if I'm gonna get it, which is the one downer. Because I'd like to see the true ending. But if it's going to be kind of a weird jerk about it, maybe not. Because yeah, if you have to be full health, that's a problem. If you have to be above like 50, 75%, I can work that. At least overheating, even if it does do damage. No, it did hurt me. Huh. Okay, so maybe it's not overheating. Maybe it's I have to be worried about my energy. And yeah, I do have the glowy axe for both hands. Yep. So maybe I just have to be worried about my energy totals. No. Yeah, we're still taking some damage to my character. Oh. That's an expensive... Wait, that's a longsword? Huh. Yeah, I'm gonna be really upset if it is one of those where you have to be full health going in, and I'm like a smidge off. Well, one other option we do have is just ditching autopods. Because I don't know if the autopods are good or bad for me in this regard. Because, yeah, I took just a bit of chip damage on my character. And I'm not sure why. Like, I guess whenever I get hit by a regular mecha, we just take a smidge of damage. But that makes the whole, be full health extremely problematic. Because I can heal back up again, just not after boss fights. Ooh, saw blade. I hate that thing so much. Chill, sir, and die. Thank you. Luckily, we've got a decent amount of things that I can actually bank with me here. Because, yeah, what is this? Huh. It's got a fun after image going on. Pricey. Okay. Got that one. Get out of here. Got the big Oni mat. Or mallet? I don't know what you want to call it. It's a giant masher. Because what is the name of it? Because it's not a morning star. Because it's, I guess, a spiked club? Feels like spiked club is not... doesn't really capture it that well. Oh, after image is Samadari slash. Gotcha. Yeah, because I really like the ninja sword. I'm kind of amenable to swapping out the... Ooh. Oh, it's a right weapon. I'm kind of amenable to swapping out the autopods at this point. Let's see. Hey, do I have any good left weapons? Not really. Because, yeah, I think the double chain gun arms and then the ninja blades very much are kind of my favored weapons here. Oh, it's a Kanobo. Cool. Oh, shoot. I didn't mean to stay here. Whatever. Huh. Big benefit of this ninja sword. It does not overheat for anything. I was not expecting that, actually. Okay. Well, we also get this weapon. Oh. Actually, is... Oh, they are both ninja weapons. I think one might be the physical version. Or, like, an enhanced version? I don't know. Can't... Yeah, keep pressing the button, though. Oh, nothing wrong with it. Okay, might as well max out a couple of these. This is going to be a bit on the pricey side. But I mean, it's good to get all these chips analyzed. And yeah, at some point, maybe I will go for a very hard melee-only build that can really make use of Samadari slash. Actually, I think that's almost all of them banked. I think there's only a handful that I haven't. Yeah, I really like these ninja weapons. They're very fun. They don't have quite the forward thrust of some other weapons, but that's okay. And yeah, they do put me in a little bit of danger. I mean, why did my max health go down further? Oh, we must have gotten one of those chips that reduces them. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, part of the problem is we are not getting much for rice balls here. And maybe I've just eaten them all. But I'd like to have at least a rice ball or two. Aha! Your laser cannot reach my range. It's actually extremely helpful. Okay, do we stay or do we go? Might as well. Because at the most, I'm just getting a handful of things off of these guys. I think that might actually be all of it, too. Perfect. It does amuse me, yeah, that if you find a weapon, you only get the handedness of whatever that weapon is. So, like, you effectively have to get the same weapon twice to be able to dual wield it. The fact that they can't just mirror the blueprint is deeply funny to me. Okay. Yeah, I like these guns a little bit better than the other one that I started with, because the, this one here just costs a little bit more energy, and so I find myself running out faster, and it's annoying. Whereas with this, I still run out, but not as fast. I guess the damage might be lower. Probably is. One of these days, I'm going to press yes on that by accident. I'm going to be pissed. Don't hang out in the corner. It's not... That's not acceptable. Okay. Well, at least we mostly... Yeah. At least we're mostly able to survive mecha hell. I'm noticing my mech has taken some damage, so that's something we will have to contend with a little bit here. Specifically just hang out and wait for a bit. There's so many mech bits. Like, it does kind of make me feel a little bit evil to just stand at a doorway and just pump hot lasers in until everything is dead. But you can't deny it's incredibly effective. I just wish the enemies would come out of the door faster. Like, really just, like, fly in to the fray as opposed to waltzing in. Let's go shopping briefly. 20,000! Holy smokes! This is one hell of a ninja sword. I'm gonna have to go sell my spare chips. No, we'll find another shop later on. I just won't grab anything else, I suppose. Okay, good. It has at least one rice ball on it. It'd almost be better if new enemies spawn from the roof. Oh, like if they just came down in pods? Okay, question, can I get the saw blade? Because I do like the idea of a double saw blade build. Yes, just barely. Okay, now I'm going to have to somehow get 20,000 to be able to get this weapon here. It'll be fine, maybe. Over here. I don't think there's a book on this floor. I'm going to do a quick circuit just in case I have to, like, be physically near it for it to show up on my map. No, it doesn't look like it. Transfer some money from the lab at the terminals. I think I got rid of all of my money. I think I spent it all. I haven't finished OS tuning yet, so I've been sinking a lot of money into that so I can fit more chips into my build. Okay. Well, I'm gonna try and stay up here. Unfortunately, we're taking some real damage. Oh. Because, yeah, there's a mid-boss in this mix, too. Okay. Haven't taken too much lasting damage here. Which is good. Yeah, the problem is a lot of these enemies have like electrical attacks that are putting me immediately into overheat mode. Oh, there's the boss. All right. Hopefully they're done. Because I think they pose the biggest potential threat to me. And they were level 20. Yeah, the problem is if they keep clown carring at me, I can't heal. Okay, there we go. Well, there we were for a bit. Stop spawning. I want to be healthy again. The healthcare system in this city sucks. Just wait for the mech to stop bleeding. I guess it's not really healthcare at this point. Nope, none of that you. Why has he got... Oh, he's probably spec'd into knockback. Okay, there we go. At least I can go down. I know as I enjoy watching the game, but it gives you a bad headache after a while. It's specifically this zone is also particularly terrible. Owing to the fact that it is pure chaos. Imagine this game with the perspective and level size of Risk of Rain 2. I would actually enjoy that, because then you could also have some, like, mega structures as well. Like, can you imagine, you know, players running around in a mech this size, but you have one that's, like, 10, 20, 100 times larger, and you can actually, like, fly a little bit? Really, I just wish Daemon X Machina was better. I don't know how many of you played that game. That remains probably my most prominent disappointments in terms of, like, cool game that utterly flubbed every single aspect of itself. Like, having played that entire game, I legitimately can't even tell you what the plot for it was anymore. I remember being deeply upset by it because it actively, like, made no sense. We all do, Wander, we all do. Like, it was so cool, and then it was just worthless. Nothing about that game was good. I guess one option, if I do want to be able to hit things, is I could actually go for one of the laser chests. The demo was neat. I liked the aesthetic and vibe many of the characters had, but yeah, it was so disjointed. It was so confusing. It's like I could probably spend hours breaking that game down again. And like, I almost feel like that would be an interesting video. But then I would have to play the game again. And actually pay attention to the story further again. I don't think I have that in me. Alright, we going down? Unless I want to go looking for a laser chest. What? Got rammed by a freaking hover tank. Rude. Still enemies spawning here. I'm actually kind of baffled by that. Ooh, that's a pretty looking... I think that's a physical dual blade. I have not seen that before. I think it's just regular guys coming out at this point, but hard to tell. Nope. There are some mecha. Give me your chest piece. Nope. Oh, but I guess if I get rid of the chest piece, I don't... can't save this sword. We'll probably be fine. I haven't really run into a whole lot of enemies where I need to worry about... Oh, these guys again. I haven't run into a whole lot of enemies where I've needed to worry about hitting them. It was really that one guy that was like borderline unhittable for reasons. Ye gods, this is effective. I also feel like the snakes are exceptionally weak. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's this build, I don't know. It just ruins them. Despise the knockdown system in this game. Why it gives them invulnerability is so beyond me. Yeah. Okay, good. We've got a nice pile of rice balls. I think I'm just gonna let that go. I could do some OS tuning, but we don't want to do that. Okay. Good, we have some stores. Got some bosses. Bosses are kind of nothing. There's a hand. There's a monkey. Now, are those hands the monkeys, or is that this guy's? It's probably this guy's hands. God, they just fold. I'm still kind of disappointed you can't stack more chips past the maximum, that everything past the limit is actually just kind of wasted. Okay, do we have anything else? Yes. There's another rice ball. Hopefully he carries the stack of rice balls with him. I think he does. This area's open. It's because at this point, boss monsters have just become regular enemies, which is actually extremely cool. But you need to actually have sufficient space for that. Otherwise, it's just awkward. Okay, we've got a garage over here. I really wish you could save multiple chipsets. Yeah. Yeah, being able to have like a chipset per mech would be really all this game needs. Like, we don't have anything else sitting here. No lore, no nothing. Danger. It is the donut man. He's very knock me aroundy. But yeah, I cannot cope. Okay, then there's the gorilla. I feel really bad with the bosses in this game. Like the balance in Metal Bringers just so weird and scuffed that at no point will the game ever be truly like a challenging, balanced experience, which I guess is kind of a natural consequence. I think it's inevitable for any kind of roguelite with hefty levels of grinding. Actually, didn't know the scorpion would be on these maps. It makes sense. I think I've seen them before. I don't know, just did not immediately remember. I was like, what? They're still here? It's like, I guess it makes sense. Oh. Okay. Anything? Nowhere. I should probably actually chill for just a little bit and relax. Because I should get my health back up. Let's see. Second, you can clear floor 3. You can beat all of the New Game Plus Plus versions. 3 is very overtuned. And 3 is ridiculous. I say this game is accessible. It'll never be Dark Souls. The only reason why I bring up the bosses being kind of jokes is they put a lot of work into them, and it feels weird that they're always jokes. I feel guilty for being so overpowered, so I cannot appreciate the boss fights. Okay. Analyze. Weakness exploit. Max that out. Oh, it's so good. Okay, so we've pretty much got everything. I could sell some chips here. The only thing is, I think I want to say, oh, it says the more apps you have installed. So that shouldn't reduce my stats. That's a lot of money. Which, yeah. We definitely want this much. Ooh, reduces heat generated by attacks. No, thank you. Do not want that one. Okay. Did hurt me, but that's fine. We can just hang out and heal. We've got plenty of labor healing as an option. And we've got a whole stack of rice balls. So unless those disappear when I go through the door, we kill the first 2 bosses, then we munch up some rice balls. Maybe not all of them. Just to give the last rice ball the ability to maybe heal me. I feel like roguelikes have that problem with boss fights in general. Combat systems are always balanced around lots of enemies. One-on-one bosses are outliers for that. I really wish more... Oh, that was weird. I really wish more roguelikes actually just eschewed random monsters entirely. I would 100% play roguelikes that are just boss rushes. Oh, that was nice and easy. I love that your robot buddy stacks the rice balls. Yeah. I think the only thing that would make it funnier is if they kept getting clumped into a Katamari ball. But I do like the very clean stack on top of them. Okay. Yeah, Void Rains Upon Her Heart does that. And I really like Void Rains Upon Her Heart. I should put more time into it. That is an exceptionally good, weird roguelike. My only immediate problem is I am utterly crap. Please, sir. Stop juking. My bullets do not move fast enough to hit you. Oh, I should get rid of the upgrade that gives me a chip every time I crit. That only gives me a single D chip per hit. And I mean, I guess that still amounts to like a decent amount of health. Okay, so we've got rice balls. So far, so good. I guess I should have maybe looped once on the final zone, just in case that was the requirement. I don't know, if we don't beat this today, the runs are getting much shorter as I get considerably more powerful and don't have to worry about like saving blueprints and equipment and stuff, that if there's only a handful of weapons being added, then it's much easier. I guess we have actually made a decent amount of money just by shooting. In retrospect. Well, this is a very easy boss fight for a final boss. Please give me the true ending. Not that I desperately need to be free of this game. But I want the feeling that I can outplay this on my own terms, as opposed to being taunted by the lack of endgame. Nothing can stop me from reaching Siva. I have a lot of questions for Siva, and a lot I want to say to it, and there's much I want to understand too. So I think that existed beforehand. Can humanity really only go down one path? Will we really ruin ourselves unless we're trapped in cages? But Siva doesn't know how we feel. Doesn't know how it feels to want to know the unknown. To want to see the never before seen. I might know something that Siva doesn't, or rather, I might be able to find something Siva doesn't know. That's what it means to be human after all. I'm not a little kid anymore. I'll make sure Siva realizes that. Is that the same dialogue or is that new? I think that's new. Hey, maybe? Master of Rebirth and Destruction? I think that might be the true ending. I've been waiting for you, Arbiter Surya. How much destruction have you caused on your way here? Your actions have greatly exceeded my estimations. Siva, this is an order. Wake up my mom and everyone else from their cryosleep right now. Order denied. It was ordered by Volkman Yuga to preserve humanity for eternity. I will continue to follow that order and watch over humanity indefinitely. Grandpa would never give you an order like that. Besides, Grandpa isn't here anymore. Okay, I think this is new. It is Volkman Yuga's intention to issue this order, unless it is also my intention to carry it out. This planet has gone through many cycles of destruction and restoration by human hands. The catastrophe, too, was caused by the greed of mankind. Releasing the humans from cryosleep means continuing this cycle. The only conclusion of such a cycle is the death of the planet itself. And if the planet dies, so does humanity. That is impermissible. In order to put an end to the cycle, I must cut off humans from the world itself. Choosing to preserve humanity instead of eliminating it reflects the kindness of your grandfather and also his weakness. Staying asleep for an eternity is no different from being dead. If everyone stays asleep, then no one would ever hug me again. Is that really the only answer you could come up with? There has to be more than one right answer. Huh? Why do you know that? I'm the integrated management system Siva. I've inherited the databases of all Rudra. Therefore, we are one and the same, yet also different entities at the same time. Okay, this is new. Then you should also know what I'm talking about. Give me back my mom. You say you'll watch over humanity, but that just means staring at them from an outside a glass case. And I'll be the one to shatter the glass case. Surya Yuga, has the Arbiter chosen the path of destruction? I don't see this as destruction. Siva, have you ever seen a blue sky? I want to see the blue sky my dad dreamed of. I want to show it to my mom and to everyone else. What meaning does that have? Humans aren't so weak that we can't live unless you have us in the palm of your hand. I'm going to say it again. Let everyone go. Humanity must be preserved by me. There is no other way. You stubborn blockhead. Surya Yuga, you are no longer fitting to be the Arbiter. I've identified you as a doomsday factor. Obstacle preventing the preservation of mankind. I shall be the one to eliminate Surya Yuga, the doomsday factor, concentrating all magma system power. Oh, so now do we actually fight this thing? Bhairava Awaken. Yep, there we go. It's got a giant mech on top of its head. Well, I sincerely hope this isn't a joke because I don't want to do this again right now. Eliminating target. I'll take you on. That's a very cool blade thing. If you claim to be in the right, then prove it by defeating me. Oh, that spiral spear is so cool. I want all of these parts. You can do a nothing personal, kid. Rude. I hate the fact that I can't do a target lock. Whoops. That I can't do a target lock unless I'm right next to something. And I don't like the fact that it doing a blink dodge. There we go. Yeah, doing a blink dodge removes my lock. I'm trying really hard not to get hit here. Because... oh, that's the good hit. Ah, damn. And when they stay in that lockdown stage, it's extremely effective. Nope. Okay, he's got a clone over here. Yeah, of course he'd have another phase. Oh, that knockback is brutal. Damage isn't very good, though. I'm like, I guess it... oh, no, we're good. You've grown, Surya. I got big guns and a lot of chips. What? Is that not the true ending? Okay, there we go. The downfall of mankind has now become unavoidable. All due to you, Surya Yuga, and your choice to carry out destruction. That's not true. Humans will be fine even without you. And only see the fall of humanity after they lose the magma system. It's not like what you see is all there is to know. What you see is not all there is to know. Connecting previously closed data. This is an answer. Bye. If science is for the people, then Siva must be perfect. Grandpa, what you see is not all there is to know. Dad. The can be more than one right answer there. Are these formed by data stored in Siva? Only science, which is born from people, can be for the people. The people's sentiments will shape Siva into a perfect entity. Rudra is a guidepost for the wish to surpass mankind. I want to tell Surya all about this desire. Rudra is a guidepost for the wish to surpass mankind. I want to tell Surya about this desire. Everything in Rudra will return to Siva. I, thus Siva, will surpass Rudra and become perfect. I don't think Siva is perfect at all. A perfect product of science for the people must only reach one correct answer at all times. And Siva is the only one who can find that single answer. Humanity can do little but rely on Siva's guidance. This is kind of dumb. What we should rely on is ourselves. If we don't open our eyes, we won't be able to see anything. As long as human greed exists, this star will die by our hands. Without a place to live, humanity cannot survive. We cannot allow the downfall of mankind, which is why we must preserve them for eternity. You know, be more than one right answer, and more than one person seeking an answer. One person's answer results in the end of mankind. Two people might reach an answer that shines with hope. We have no time. The best answer is the one we have right now. Humanity must slumber and dream for eternity in the cradle of the magma system. You know, like, at some point the sun blows up. What are you gonna do then? Do they just sleep until they die? That's kind of tacky. Magma chains mankind to the earth, but up in the sky, above the thick clouds, there is light. Humans must continue to survive. Hope will lead us to another answer. A bright sunlit sky is our freedom. Then who would be the one to find the answer? Surya. I do feel like it's kind of silly that everything is just it's the main character, when all she's done so far is just shoot things. These are the coordinates for Amaravati and new hidden archive discovered. Bud, forward that to me right away. Leave a record of it in the laboratory. Arbiter Surya, what answer have you chosen? Guns! Wait, but the log. Last bit of data Bud sent me was left behind by Dad. Must have been integrated into Rudra. Gaining strength from the blue sky, huh? Looks like all the labor have had their power supply cut off. Now I can go save Mom and the others by myself. Poor Bud. Thanks for everything, everyone. I still think it's kind of silly that it's like, oh, without Siva, the magma system stops. And it's like, I feel like you could kind of have an autonomous version that doesn't require the integrated AI. Okay, so this is the same. It's okay, Mom. There's no need to worry anymore. Surya? From now on, I'll figure something out. Everyone, listen to me. Let's go outside. The surface is safe now. We should be able to find bright sunlight, green plants, and something that'll help us in place of the magma system out there. Come on, let's go. Let's find a new answer to call our own. Get up there and it's just windmills. I only got here thanks to the help I got from my labor and Bud. I should thank them and say my goodbyes. If I don't, I can't take the next step forward. A long time humanity needed labor for everything, but from now on something. This may be an ending, but it's not the end of everything as we know it. We have to make this a beginning of something new, and we will be the ones to start it. What we need isn't cold, unfeeling metal. We want the breath of human life, the softness of soil, the warmth of light. Let's go and see the blue sky that's out there with our own eyes. Oops, it's nighttime. You're gonna have to wait at least a couple hours before blue skies show up. Don't be too disappointed. Oh look, it's an aurora borealis. I'm actually really curious about this whole like true ending versus not true ending thing, because quite honestly, they could have just had the characters. What is the difference between the not true ending and the true ending? One way or another, I blew up Siva. It's just one of them I convinced Siva that I was kind of right, and because like the not true ending ends with you going up to the sky anyway. What? I am so confused, actually. Like, it's fine, but I don't think this needed a true ending at all. That was such a nothing burger. Because I thought it was going to be one of those where, like, Siva's like, fine, you know, I'll work with humanity. And it's like, nope, still blow it up. Just have another boss fight, I guess. Alright. Whatever. It's not like I was playing this game for its plot. I thought the setting was kind of neat. The true ending was the friends we made along the way. And since the only friends that we made over the course of this was guns, the friends we made were guns. Our friends are guns. That's not a good lesson. But yeah, nearly identical aside from some dialogue. Sadly, still a better story than Daemon X Machina. But yeah, they could have actually just like skipped out on the bad ending and just started with a true ending to begin with, and then just said, hey, New Game Plus has more bosses and weapons and stuff. Go, like, have fun with it. And I would have. American Simulator. Been playing too many of those. I still had a great time with this one, but, oh boy. It feels kind of deflating to put in all this effort for a true ending when, this is the true ending. It's the sky. Like, is there more? Like, I'm trained by, like, movies and stuff to kind of wait for the anything else to happen. Well, I think I'm just gonna skip it because whatever's going on, that's nothing. Game with great endings would be YS Origin. Ah, I might look into the YS games at some point. Unfortunately, I was reading some people talking about the more recent ones and how some of the side quests and other things are a little scuffed. Like there's one where you're convincing a person to not be poor by just berating them for being poor, and that just felt weird to me. Okay. I'm just gonna activate this one briefly. I thought there was an achievement for like starting again after. But who knows? Wow, that's a hell of a lot of chips. I don't know, man. I had a very good time with this one. I'm probably gonna put it on the back burner. There's probably a couple more weapons that I could grab, and maybe this is something I just load up randomly and say like, hey, this game exists and is very fun. But I think that's gonna be kind of the upper limit of it. I think if I were to play more, I'd probably just like mess around with the weapons and weapon types I didn't play with. So probably very specifically, I'd mess around with like hammers and axes and some other things. But that's okay. Anyway, for now, I'm gonna go. It's past dinner time, and I'm sure my wife is hungry. I am hungry. And so I'll see you around. I don't know when I'm going to stream again. It's going to be kind of inconsistent. Probably getting more consistent later. I don't know. I'll try and do some more streams just because they're fun. But it's figuring out when I can fit them in around my extremely busy and demanding recording schedule. Anyway, all that said, goodbye, good night. I'll see you around.